everybody, and welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, Absolutely Lower League, the show dedicated to everything from the EFL Championship, League One, League Two, the Vanarama National League, and the Vanarama National League North and South. Anyway, before I introduce you to the panel, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Ant for last week, who did host, bless him, at such short notice and did an amazing job. And the team who were on with him, thank you so much for last week. It really means a lot. Sam as well for doing my graphics. As you can see, I'll address the elephant in the room. It's still not the best. Still got a wonky eye, but never mind. I'm here. And thank you to Sam as well for this week, because he has done all the graphics again. So thank you, everyone. I do appreciate it. But yeah, I'll introduce the team first, and then we've got a very special guest as well. Ben, how are you and how's your week been?
Been all right, yeah. In and out a bit with football this week, but up and then down. They always say the terms never too high, never too low. I think we've experienced that a little bit this week, but all in all, I can't complain really. How about you? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm really happy to be here, to be fair. I missed you all last week. I mean, sometimes it's nice to have a break, but then you really miss everyone when you do. So it's nice to talk football, but I've picked a really bad week to talk football about my club anyway. I've seen Michael's in the chat though, so I'm hoping he does the talking for me. Jen, how are you? I mean, we've got JCB on this side again.
We're doing great, yeah. No, I'm okay. I've got the Baron Kyle game on the background, so a little bit stressed, a little bit, but it is what it is. We'll deal with it as it comes.
Do you know what I've just noticed as well? Obviously, we've got Morgan, we've got Rebecca, so we've got Mr. JCB. I love it.
That's it.
Rebecca, how are you? I feel like it's been forever since I last saw you.
Yeah, it's been a bit hectic with uni assignments, having to go and do filming and things. But yeah, that's all done. I'm very well, thank you. Very excited. It is officially the weekend I go to Dundee and get to experience my first Scottish Prem match. So I'm very, very excited.
Love that. You'll have to take some videos as well. I've always wanted to go to a Scottish game. Always. I think the atmosphere and everything, it always looks and sounds really, really good when I see it on the television. So you'll have to send some.
We've unintentionally picked a incredible relegation scrap. So when we booked the board, Dundee was 7th, pushing for top 6. They are now second bottom. St Johnstone, who they are against, are bottom. So, and there's 3 points between them, so it's going to be an interesting one.
Oh man, hopefully though it will go the right way. Fingers crossed. And last but not least, we've got a very special guest, Morgan. How are you? And tell everybody who you support as well. I'm jealous of who you support, to be fair. I'm jealous.
I'm very good, thanks, Shah. I'm a York fan, so obviously this year it's been quite good being a York fan. So long time coming, having a good year, but yeah, it's going well.
Love that. Before we talk York as well, which we are going to do, I will just introduce everyone in the chat, because it's not just us. So Muscular has just put Gateshead. Brilliant.
Okay.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for that. We've got Luke as well. He's put, all right, everyone, let's talk some National League. Don't try to skip it. We won't skip it. Do not worry. Even though I want to skip it, we won't do that. We've got Michael. Like I said, Michael's going to do the talking for me today because I can't be bothered. Graham has put evening, everyone. We've got some updates as well. Barrow 0, Carlisle 1, and West Ham 1, Leicester 0, Suchek. Let's have a look who else is here. It's a lot of chat. Thanks, everyone. And we've got Simon as well. Hello, Simon. Hope you're okay. We have got Bucky as well. Evening all. Evening. Hope you're okay. We've got Chris. He's put evening, Shah, Ben, Jen, Rebecca, and welcome to the podcast, Morgan. If you've not known already, Morgan, Chris is like Sky Sports News. If you want any football going on, Chris is the man. He'll update us all night. It could be from a foreign league. It could be from National League. It could be from a grassroots game. Chris is your man. We've got Stevie as well. He's put evening. So muscular as well. I love Fenimore. Brilliant. You love a lot of teams, don't you? A lot of teams. We've got Michael. If we don't win in the FA Trophy, I hope you do, Chris. Don't say that. We will win. We need to win one game. Come on. Hoping for a Barrow win, Jen.
That'd be nice.
I think we're hoping for a Barrow win as well.
Never cheer for the opposition, but sometimes you've got to.
Sky Blue Deckers, but hi Shah, hope you're feeling better. I'm very well, thank you. Even though my eye doesn't look it, it's still a little bit wonky. It's doing a lot better. Johnny has put as well, hi Shah, Ben, Jen, Rebecca and Morgan. I just keep saying I love this community, and today makes me feel why I love this community, because you all, and especially the person who ran the Twitter page, who check in on me. Bless you. Right. Let's talk York, Morgan. First of all, we won't talk about the weekend's games. I just wanna know a bit about your season and how it's going so far from your point of view. I mean, it's not going bad, is it? It's not going bad at all.
No, it's going better than I think anyone could have imagined. We all thought we've had 2 years of chaos. I think we've gone through 7 permanent managers in the last 2 years, ownership changes and everything like that. So to have a bit of stability, we were hoping about 9th, maybe get near the playoffs, but not too worried about it. So to be second and so close to Barnet and everything like this, we've all just been really enjoying the ride. I know some York fans know social media can get a bit weird, but some have got a bit carried away. It's like, oh, we have to go up. We don't have to win the league, as weird as that sounds. We all want to, but I think we'll do well in the playoffs. And it's taken, if you look at the other teams that have gone into League Two, Stockport, Wrexham, Chesterfield, Notts County, Bromley, it's all taken them about 3 years to do it. Got to be in around the playoffs for about 3 years and then you do it. So if we don't go up this year, it's not that big of an issue. I don't think we'll do it in the next year or two. So yeah, it's been a good year, but there's I don't say no pressure, but no real pressure compared to other teams, I don't think.
Just looking back, obviously, on last season, because I always thought like last season, even though you were struggling for a while, weren't you? You always had the team and you signed really good players. I just didn't know if obviously a few of them didn't quite gel at that time and needed more time to obviously be together and compete. But again, this season, you brought in some new faces. You brought in a lot of good players as well. You've got some really good quality. But from last season, and then in the summer, did you ever think you'd be up where you are now and competing? Or what was your kind of expectations of this season, your own personal ones?
I did a few predictions, and I think the best I said was about 9th.
Yeah.
It was somewhere between about 12th and 9th. And all the predictions I did, it was like, we're going to be good. We're going to be better. We're going to be more solid than a normal football club. Love that from Michael. Yeah. I thought it'd be a bit of a normal football club this year. It's like football will finish 9th, for example. Just miss out on the playoffs. It's not that big of a deal. There's a massive squad turnover. I think we signed 40 players last year and wasted so much money. So then in the summer, we loaned out loads of players, released loads of players. It was like, let's reset. Let's do this properly this time.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done. We've given the manager free rein. Has gone, sign who you want, who you trust, and we'll build it from there. And he has done.
Love that. Saying hello to everyone who's come in. You're all okay. Bless Michael. Come on, we're talking York at the minute. We'll be depressed later. Let's just talk York for now. But if anyone in the chat has any questions for Morgan as well, please let us know. One person who I did want to mention as well, Tyree Sinclair. How's he doing for you this season? Because obviously it was with us last season, and it was so frustrating because it was always a player in him and he's shown glimpses of quality, but then it'd be quite inconsistent with it. But it seems like he's doing quite well for you this season. Is that?
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty accurate. There have been times where his head's dropped, and I can't remember who it was. There was a game where I think he'd miscontrolled the ball or something like that, and the fans were getting on his back because he was playing near where the away fans were in that game. And you could tell they were getting at him. And it might have been a halftime team talk or something. And he just came out and looked so much more confident in the second half. And it just seems like, I don't know if Jimmy McNulty was doing something wrong or Hinchell was doing something right or whatever it is, but he just seems to be that bit more confident. If his head drops, someone will talk to him and he'll just play his game.
Yeah.
So you can tell when his head drops, but you can tell when the man management gets it right.
Players for you this season as well. Any standouts for you? Have you got any favourite players?
The obvious Ollie Pearce hit 20 goals.
Yeah, love him.
He's
Ben does.
I hate my heart last season.
So Ollie Pearce just hit 20 goals. And I think something I love about him, really, really friendly guy when I've met him as well. He will not stop talking on the football pitch, whether that's to defenders, to refs, to linos. He will not just stop getting in people's ears, and it's really entertaining to watch him just wind everyone up. So, yeah, I think Pearce has to be up there.
Someone who I did once mention, and you probably had a lot of chat about him, but obviously Josh Stones, it was a Wigan player, wasn't he? Was at Oldham on loan. Yep. Oldham thought they were going to sign him. We were massively buzzing as Rochdale fans when he did decide to come to York. I won't admit it was very, very funny from that point of view. But what's your thoughts on, obviously, Josh Stones and the money that you did spend on him? Are you happy with that signing? Is he gelling in the team? Because I know when we last kind of spoke, it was one of them things where we didn't really know where he'd fit in, did we? Because of the formation and then Ollie Pearce and where would they play? Does he seem to be gelling more in the team now? He's scoring goals, isn't he?
Yeah, no, 100%. When we first started, I wrote a piece, I think it was just before we played Boston back in January, and I wrote a piece saying, I think we'll play with a 3-5-2 with Pearce and Stones together. And we did it in that game straight away, and it didn't work at all. We lost 2-0. We then tried against Sutton, again lost, and it was like, this just isn't working. He then got dropped for a game and played like half an hour, came on, looked okay. Then Pearce got himself sent off, so then Stones got his chance and it worked, and it just took some time for him to get fit, play in the squad a little bit, and then the last two games we played those two up front together, whether that's in the last half an hour or for the full game or whatever, and it's worked against Halifax in a bit of a chaotic game, and it worked really well last night on Tuesday night, against Maidenhead. So it is now working.
Love that. We have got as well, Michael has put, Cam John leaving to go York absolutely hurt me and still hurts me to this day. And how is he doing?
He's all right. His best game, I remember, was against Barnet. We beat them 3-1 at home, and he was the best player on the pitch, which for a left-back in a 3-1 win is a bit of an odd one when he didn't actually contribute to goals or assists or keep a clean sheet or anything like that. He can go in and out of games. I know a lot of York fans saying, go get a new left back, go get a second left back, whatever it is. He's very solid, and you can tell he works well with Ty, because obviously they were together at U last year. So you can tell that works well. He's solid, nothing special. He's a solid National League left back, and you probably saw that last year. Like, he can defend, can't really go forward, but he's all right.
I feel like with Cameron John, and I know last season with Tyree Sinclair as well, been massive confidence players as well. Once they have that confidence, they do very well, but a bit like when they're lacking confidence, the heads do seem to drop. But it's one of them things where I am glad to see them doing well, and they do have a really good friendship, obviously off field as well, so they're well together. But a little bit on the game of the weekend. Talk to us about it.
What, the one coming up or the Halifax one?
The Halifax one.
The Halifax one. I don't think I've been as frustrated, but then as happy at full time in a game. It was one of those games that I think we've all had as fans, where you're just so annoyed at everything. We were 2-0 down in 3 minutes, which is something I've never seen before. The ref was, I don't want to blame the ref and be one of them that's like, oh, it's the ref's fault. We've all blamed refs before. He was awful. We then had a man sent off that a lot of people said wasn't a red card. And then we equalised in the 100th minute. There was 20 minutes added time. There was a player going off with concussion and a really bad cut on his head. A lot happened, but then to get that equaliser felt pretty special in the end.
Just on... Sorry, I just lost my bearings then. My phone went off. Just on, obviously, the game coming up this weekend, who have you got and confident?
Yeah, it's Hartlepool away. Last year was a very interesting tie, mainly off the pitch. Like on the pitch, it was a 2-1. It wasn't 2-1 loss for us. It wasn't very interesting. The stories were last year off the pitch where the police got involved and fans got hurt. And
God.
yeah, there was a lot of videos coming out of police dogs being used and stuff like this. And it was quite bad scene. So tonight, both football clubs have put out statements saying this is being taken very seriously. So it's kind of, that's where all the storylines are looking.
Yeah.
We're on quite good form, bit up and down, but we're on quite good form. Hartlepool are where they are. It's just a lot of the conversations are off the pitch. Are fans going to get hurt? Is there going to be any trouble? Anything like that. That's kind of where all conversations are.
I hope everything goes well and everything's all right. It's nothing worse, is there, than them kind of games and stuff, and then you're thinking the worst, like, for your safety and everything. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone will be okay. We've got Blaze Ramble as well. Hello. We've got Aled joining us. Thank you for joining. And just quickly on the National League as well. Obviously, there is an obvious choice on there, but is there any standouts on here for you, Morgan? And you can say Barnett, but not really a standout because for your newbie batterers, because we've been awful. But any standouts or any you want to talk about on here?
I think the one that I'm looking at, or there's two at the very top, Aldershot winning and Fylde beating Altrincham, I think are two teams that have been really poor this year. Aldershot have been very up and down. I've seen Aldershot fans on Twitter calling for their manager to go, saying he's playing his son too much, who has also been captain at times this year. Tommy Widrington and I've forgotten what his dad's called. But the Widringtons, there's been a lot of discourse of, are they going to get, should they go, should they stay, all this. They're falling lower and lower down the table. So for them to turn around and beat a Hartlepool team, a pretty mid-table and pretty solid, is a really, really big win for them. And Fylde, again, have gone through, they're onto their third manager now, having sacked Kevin Phillips. So Kevin Phillips was brought in. He's recently gone after he had a really, really poor stint in charge. He's gone and they got someone else in. And to get that win against Altrincham really changes the relegation table because there's a lot going on down there. Teams picking up wins that they possibly shouldn't, or dropping points where they could be doing more. So I think those are at the top of the big two.
It's crazy, isn't it, this league? And I've always said, like, don't get me wrong, I've always been interested in the National League and the lower leagues of football. But since we came down, I never actually realised how mental, like, the National League North, National League South actually are. Like, how close it is, then how much of a switch there is as well, and how teams are taking points off each other. It is just crazy. Like, absolutely crazy. No, it's mental. Yeah. Sorry, Morgan.
No, sorry, carry on.
Oh, no, it's fine. Go on.
No, it is. It's ridiculous. And I was saying to my dad on the way to the Halifax game, I think it was, on Saturday, that we will not win all the easy games between now and the end of the season. In the last few years, I think we've beaten Chesterfield twice when they've been near the playoffs. We beat Bromley last year when we barely stayed up. Dorking beat Chesterfield 4-1 at the back end of last year and then got relegated. It is one of, the National League especially, you get weird results every single week, especially the later you get into the year. It just gets weird and nothing is really guaranteed at all. By September, October, you can be like, this team will beat this team. In March, the opposite will happen.
It's mental, honestly. I didn't realise as much from being involved in it. And I'm like, this gives me such anxiety, but it's so much fun at the same time. Honestly. We will go to some of the chat as well, because we do have Luke in here. So he's talking, obviously, about Solihull Moors 1, Gateshead 3. And he has put, Solihull away, first half was a scrappy one, but we managed to pull through and get a positive outcome in the end, considering with all the injuries we are doing superb. Brilliant to see Gateshead picking up points again. This one I will come to as well. It's pretty much agree with what Michael has said. No fight and no passion, nothing. Absolutely awful watch from start to finish. When we were changed 6 or 7 games with a win, only scoring twice, I'm not so sure on Jim anymore. It's just not good. I do agree with some points that Michael has made there. Honestly, it's so frustrating, and I've mentioned it on several podcasts, and this sums it up. He has a plan A, but once he's been caught out, which is a lot of times now this season, they definitely have caught out our midfield of Ryan East and Harvey Gilmore. Once they stop them playing football, then we just have no plan B. And it took until the 87th minute of the game on Tuesday for him to finally change formation, and we get an equaliser. It's like, come on, Jim, finally. But I completely agree. I absolutely love Jim, and I don't want to come on here and criticise him, but it's getting really frustrating now. It needs to change. It needs to not be stubborn like he is, because what he's doing is bringing players on to please the fans. Like when we're asking for Hendo, he's bringing him on. Like, honestly, the game, I tweeted at halftime, we were already 2-0 down in the Barnet game. I tweeted at halftime, and I've actually put it as something sarcastic. I went, when we go 3-0 down, hopefully he'll bring Ian Henderson on finally. Went 3-0 down, brings Ian Henderson on, doesn't it? But it doesn't change the formation. And it's getting to a point now where his stubbornness, and don't get me wrong, it's not just his stubbornness as well, it's the players. And the players actually look tired at the minute. They look fatigued, which it's not the best, really, considering obviously we've had issues with our pitch. I think the momentum has totally dropped. The heads have gone. Like I've said, I think the midfield's completely been found out. But we just need another option, because I feel like at the minute it's just not working. And then when he does finally change a formation, he does it too late, and his in-game management and substitutions are quite poor. It's like he's doing like for like, and it's like, just go for it. And I think some aspects of what he's doing really does show that Jim McNulty was a defender, because I think he's scared of losing games, so he's not going for it, when in reality, just do it kind of thing, because it's being really negative, and the football we're playing at the minute is coming across really negative. And as you can see now, I'll just quickly go to the table. We're now 10th, and as much as there's not many points between us, you think of all them games we had in hand, all those opportunities that we've now missed, and it's not good at the minute. And I know we go through blips and things like this, but I am going to say I think a lot of it is down to Jim McNulty's stubbornness, and I'm just hoping he's learnt from that. He did change it against Tamworth on Tuesday. I don't think he changed it soon enough, but when he did, obviously we got the equaliser, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we've got the FA Trophy this weekend. It's going to be a really tough game because we've got Altrincham. Altringham's always a tough game, but I'm just hoping we can get through this and we've got something to kind of cheer about. And I don't want to get on his back. I know Michael and a lot of fans are saying it's time to go, and maybe it is. I don't know. Like, I'm at this point where I just don't know, because this team and Jim could easily turn it around, but I'm just frustrated at the minute, because I feel like all these games in hand that we did have and all those opportunities we've kind of thrown away now. But even if we did go up, I think it would be too soon for us. I think we'd come straight back down. So, yeah. Thanks, Luke. Keep it up for Tuesday now. Thank you. I think he's poking the bear. But I'm not going to react. Michael has put as well, us as paying loyal fans deserve something half decent to watch. Saturdays and the occasional Tuesdays, but that's just not good enough when we play Ebbsfleet. I honestly couldn't tell he was bottom. I knew we dropped points. I said on here, didn't I? Like beforehand, I said we will 100% not get. We will either drop points or we won't get a result against them, because they're the type of teams that we get beat to, and it's no disrespect to them. They're just too physical for us, and they just bully us. As well as, have you also heard the noise from Sandy's coming to Pearl Street? I know, exciting times. Join forces. Is there any standouts on here from anyone else that we've not mentioned?
I mean, Wiltstow, to be fair, needed that big win against Everton. They had to come back from behind twice in the game. They scored a fantastic free kick for their third goal. Harrison Sonher, I think it was, that scored it. Yeah, I mean, they were a little bit fortunate because I think they got a soft penalty for the first equaliser, which I know Josh Wright Epsom manager wasn't happy about at all. He made that very clear in his post-match interview, I can tell you. But yeah, that's a big win in terms of the fact that it's lifted them out of the relegation. Puts them a couple of points in it, and they've still got, I think, a game in hand as well, which I can put them a little bit further clear of it. But I think, as Morgan said, I think, to be fair, I would have looked at a Files win at Altrincham, because like Altrincham have always been quite good at home in the last couple of years. They have ever since they've gone full time. And even with the new manager bouncing that, they needed a reaction. Their players from Files, and they've delivered it, and it's given them a bit of hope again. And yeah, they just can't fall away. I think, like Morgan was saying, it is that interesting when now everyone's got something to play for now in these last 2 months, that teams are going to raise their game because no one's safe or not have a playoff race at all. Really, everyone's still going to have something to play. There's still 10-11 games to go. So yeah, it will be. We'll probably see a few more results like this, the ones we've seen on Saturday. So yeah, I think that's probably the one. But again, I've watched the highlights in the Rochdale game, and yeah, the further, I mean, I think you've got to put half down to half. It's quality. 2 of the goals were quality. 2 of the goals were defensive.
100%.
Because tell you what, their third goal. Well, I mean, obviously the second one was a fantastic goal in the top corner, but the third one's a fantastic header, I have to say, from that sort of range and everything like that. But yeah, no, it's. But I think Barney. I think Jim McNulty said after the game as well. I think that's the best side he's seen in about 10 years or so. From any side he's probably played against, and that's a massive credit to Dean Brennan what he's doing at Barnet, because everyone gave him a lot of probably criticism after that interview he did, probably 5-6 months ago. I don't think anyone's going to be laughing at him now after that, because they're in a great position. And I still think York might get there. To be honest, I backed him about sort of before Christmas. I think they'll go and win the league. There's still a lot of points to play for, but Barnet will be very tough to beat. They might just have to drop a couple of points somewhere, but it's still certainly not out of the question for York to go and do it.
Do you know what was actually really frustrating as well about the Barnet-Dale game? It's the fact, and I know he's a character as well, as we mentioned, Barnet's manager, but even we're getting absolutely battered, and there's still nothing. Jim just still looks cool and composed, and I absolutely love Jim McNulty, but I think sometimes have that bit about you, go for it. And I feel like he's too nice, and I do love that he's a genuinely nice guy, but I feel like he's always protecting his players, which is good. But I think sometimes just come out there and not call them or be negative about it, but come out and be more animated and stuff in your area and have you say and shout and scream. I just want to see that bit more about Jim. And I'm not saying he's not passionate in the slightest, because I genuinely think he is, but I think sometimes it just needs that little bit of edge and that little bit of bite about him. I think sometimes that's what really, really does let him down. Yeah. As Michael said, he just stood there, bless him. And I know he's deflated. I know the players are deflated as well. But kind of have that little bit of bite about you and tell the players who's boss kind of thing. Because I think that's what we're kind of missing sometimes. And I don't want to compare him to other managers, but your Keith Hill, they had that bit about them. They had that personality where I think with Jim sometimes, and it is a really good thing because so many people in football love him. I think he's a really speak to a lot of people, and they're always like, what a guy. Both personalities about you, don't you? Where you have that cool and composed side, but you do need that angry flaw bit about you. I'm just, honestly, I'm asking him, I'm begging him, just bite. Shout back at me, I don't care. Bite at me, I don't care. I just want to see that anger.
That's one thing that I love about Derek Adams. He will come out and say a player's fucking shit if they're shit. He will tell them to their face if they're shit. That's the one thing I love about him, is he will come out and say that shit. And if you have a manager that just stands there like Jim, then you don't feel anything as a fan. Whereas Derek Will Wycherley has been sent off twice this season already because of the anger. So
I feel like sometimes as well with Jim, because obviously I forget sometimes how he was a player and he was still part of the playing squad as when he was obviously interim. And I feel like sometimes he still considers himself as a manager, and people still not a manager, sorry, as a player. And sometimes, like Michael said as well, sometimes it feels like the players tell him what to do and what needs to happen. And I think he just needs to, and I know he's learning and he's still up and coming and things, and he's not been in it for long. But honestly, I just want to I want to see that rage about him. I want to see him shouting. I want to see him like at a play, not
aggressive, but just like telling them how it is.
Just have that bit about him. It's like, come on, Jim, you're a Scouser. Come on, give it. Sorry. Oh no, honestly. Honestly, we've got a lot of Gateshead fans in the chat. Don't poke the bear too soon, because you never know. You never know. It's probably not going to happen, but you never know. Chris has put as well, Solihull have only got 4 points from the last 10 games since the end of December. 2 bad results for them on Saturday and Tuesday's games. We'll get on to Tuesday's games, don't worry. Michael, again, I love Jim so much, but he needs to tell the players when they're crap. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He does. I'd love it now if he went on some mad rage.
Shout it right in your face.
Get sent off on Saturday. I never have to worry about Nathan Jones not voicing his opinion or showing emotions on the touchline. I don't want full on aggressive. Just be a little bit angry. Just let us know that you're a bit angry. But yeah, if you are watching, Jim, just be a bit aggressive. Shake him.
I feel like with it as well, you might do it behind closed doors, but as a fan, if you're stood there, you might do it behind closed doors, but you just need something just to get the crowd going a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine him even shouting. Like, it just seems like such a placid, cool and composed guy, which is absolutely great. Like, don't get me wrong, if that's him and I don't want to, obviously he's the football manager. I can't sit here and tell him what to do. But, you know, sometimes when the players, and I'm not going to out certain players, but sometimes when certain ones aren't giving it the best or when they're being a little bit lazy, just shout at them. Just have a go at them, please. Please. Yeah, Sean said, just be a bit passive-aggressive. Come on, Jim.
On Tuesday against Tranmere, we had Doolan doing a full workout like on sides. I don't think he stayed in his box the entire match. I'm surprised he didn't pull a muscle or something with how quick he were going up and down the arms flailing, and he's doing like laps up and down.
That's what I want. Do some laps, Jim. Morgan, I will ask you about the game obviously on Tuesday as well. So Maidenhead 1, York City 3.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. We were 1-0 up with a bit of a not scrappy, it was from a corner headed in, pretty straightforward. And then after about an hour, we conceded. And it's like, we're going to do a York City here. We're going to drop stupid points. And then we decided to score twice in the 94th and 96th minute. And we just won it incredibly late again.
Why can't we do
and it's
that?
something we've...
I want to cry.
You did it against Tamworth. You got your late penalty against Tamworth. That counts, right? It's something we've done all year, though, and I don't know why. The National League put a thing on Instagram, Twitter, I think it was both. We've got 16 points after the 80th minute this year. Like, we just have a thing for scoring late. We've done it against Halifax in both games. We've done it against Maidenhead now. Dagenham, we scored late. Southend, first day of the season, I think was pretty late. Like, we've just done it all year, winning late or getting points late that we possibly don't deserve.
But that shows the quality of a great team as well, doesn't it? And like the mentality and things like that. And even if you feel like you haven't deserved it, but you're still doing it and you're still going out there and snatching them points, I think that's brilliant. And I think those are the kind of games where you'll look back at the end of a season and wherever you are in a position, and if you do obviously end up getting promoted, you'll be like, them kind of goals and games where we didn't deserve the points necessarily and we got them. That just shows fight and passion, and I love that.
Yeah, but it's also a thing with fans. Like, when we've been bad, we'll be there and it's like, we've lost this game. The 80th minute, we're not going to score. Game over. You can go home at that point. As a fan now, we've seen our team do it so many times. Like, we're going to score. Like, your head doesn't drop. And as a crowd, you can keep that momentum going. It's like, we're just going to keep playing and we will do it. And it's just a massive thing from a fan's perspective. You said it about Jimmy McNulty not getting the fans up. Yeah. If you know you've got the fans on your side like we do, the players and manager will just keep going. And I
Yeah.
feel like you're feeling, everyone at Rochdale, obviously Michael's been saying it, you all feel a little bit flat. He's feeling deflated. The players are looking deflated. Everything seems to have just kind of run out of energy. You looked really good at the start of the season. You weren't conceding. You played really well against us. It obviously 1-0, but it was quite a close game, and I thought it was going to be competitive.
Yeah.
You looked like you had everything going. A plan B, maybe a loan from League Two, for example, might be really, really good for you. Maybe just some 30-year-old striker that's a bit of a journeyman, like we had John Lewis on loan a few years ago. You just need a plan B because you play really nice football, but if you can just get something a bit different, he's going to score 1 or 2 late goals, and it just gets the entire club revitalised. I think that'd be perfect for Rochdale at the moment.
Jim, if you're listening, Morgan told you as well, not just me. Not just me. We will go to Luke as well. Luke, where's your comments? Where's your comment? There it is. Eastleigh away. Fair result in the end. Wasn't a pretty game to watch. Both sides defended superbly. Lacked any sort of attack in large parts of the game, but we will take a point and try to build on it. Oh, I still love Luke, right? It's always so positive, to be fair to him, isn't it? Like, he's like, even though he's trying to poke the bear, but it will bite you back, Luke, because Conor McBride will score against you. I said this last time and it didn't happen, but it's going to happen. I feel really thingy reading this out again. So muscular. Read it. I just
need to know like actual name. Like, what's your actual name?
If anyone's listening on audio, the YouTube name is actually called So Muscular. It's not a nickname. It's not a nickname that I have for this person, by the way. You don't want anyone listening on audio to think I'm flirting or anything. Sellers Fleming is a right baller at least. I don't understand how we keep getting away with selling our strikers in January. Our recruitment is just insane.
Yeah.
I
don't know if you want to touch on it
as well. You can, Morgan. So muscular. Anyone listening on audio has put A up.
Yeah, I mean, he's bang on about Gateshead's recruitment. I don't know how many players you've seen. Obviously, for those that follow League Two, obviously players like Callum Whelan's gone to Carlisle. They've had several go to MK Dons and Gateshead. Sorry, I'm being distracted by the comments here. Players like Callum Whelan's gone. Owen Husseini's just gone to St Mirren in Scotland. Obviously, the big two being Kedwin Scott and Macca Langstaff in recent years have left. Their recruitment for a team with for a small budget in the league, their recruitment is so impressive. When you see where those players go on to, it's really, really impressive.
I was saying actually a few weeks ago as well, I feel so sorry for Gateshead because I feel like I feel so positive towards them. Like the football they play, the players they're obviously recruiting, the managers as well. But I feel sorry for them because everyone seems to go for them because they're producing that good, like whether it be a manager, whether it be the assistant manager who then steps up, whether it be players, all the time they're just being targeted, aren't they, by the EFL clubs, and they're stealing everyone. So I do feel sorry for them.
If I was a Gateshead fan, I would not want to get a player's name on the back of a shirt. Last about 6 months.
You'd have anxiety. You'd have to have Velcro ones, wouldn't you? And just take them off and change it. I will quickly go through the other results. So Aldershot 3, Solihull Moors 1, Eastleigh 1, Gateshead 1, Maidenhead 1, York City 3, as we mentioned, and Tamworth 1, Rochdale 1. He's actually put, Luke, the recruitment for the small budget we have is nothing sort of incredible. Just shows how well ran we are with a small budget. Sorry, my eyes do me dirty. I'm squinting more than usual. We just love producing talented players. As well, Michael's put, I remember getting O'Connell on the back of a shirt and he left literally at the end of the season. The pain. So Muscular's put, the pies are just better here. What can I say? Oh, come to a Dale game. The pies are lush. Honestly, I say it every podcast, don't I, guys? Pie girl. Before you do go, Morgan, we will have a run through the National League table. So top of the table, we have Barnet on 73 points, York City a second on 67 points, Forest Green a third on 64 points, Gateshead a fourth on 59 points, Oldham Athletic are 5th on 57 points. FC Halifax Town are 6th on 53 points, and Altrincham are 7th on 52 points. And then in the relegation zone, we have Maidenhead United, who are 21st on 33 points. AFC Fylde are 22nd on 32 points. Boston are 23rd on 23 points. And Ebbsfleet United are bottom of the National League on 14 points. Michael has put, yeah, it was an own goal. Sam Waller, bless him, went to punch the ball out, but punched the ball in his own net. But I'm not going to call Sam Waller because he has saved us many a time since he's been goalkeeper. Obviously, that penalty save against Halifax as well. So as much as it was frustrating, I don't want to come at Sam Waller because I love him. Michael gets a hot dog. Yeah, the hot dogs are pretty good, to be fair, but I'm a pie girl, as you can probably tell by my little round face. So muscular as well. I need to do a Dale away game. It's been on the to-do list. Definitely do. There's a fantastic chippy outside as well. But thank you so much, Morgan. Really appreciate you coming on. If anybody does want to catch your content, your Twitter, where can everybody find you?
Twitter is the best place to find me, or X, or whatever it's called now. My Twitter is @_Morgan_Bruce, and yeah, you should be able to see. I do match previews for every York game, and obviously I tweet about other National League games and whatever else is going on, really. So yeah, if you want to get more of what I'm talking about, that's where it is.
Love that. And thank you so much for giving up your time as well to come on and chat to us. You're more than welcome on anytime.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, no, thank you so much. I'll let you go now anyway.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Morgan.
Bye.
Right. Should we go to National League North and South, or do you want to do League Two? I'll let you pick between yourselves.
Yeah, you can see we're thrilled, aren't we? We're all
Should we go National League? Should we carry on?
Go on then.
League Two this week, yeah. Great.
The National League North and South done.
So National League North, I'll come to you, Ben. Any standouts for you on here?
I mean, you know, a certain Spennymoor fan in the comments section would have been buzzing with that one on Saturday. I'll tell you that. So I don't think anyone. I mean, Spennymoor, to be fair, they've been in a good run of form recently. They're maybe just giving themselves an outside chance of a playoff place. I mean, they're 9 points off, but there's still, you know, a good number of games in that to catch up on it. I mean, look, they're one of those sides that aren't going to go down. That they may not go up either. I think, as I say, a lot of teams in this level is just taking scalps, and that's damaged Kidderminster Harriers' chances at the title quite severely, to be fair, because that'll be 3 points they'll be looking at as drops, to be honest. But yeah, that's a huge win for them. I think down the bottom as well, sort of big 6 points in Marine picking up a win at Radcliffe. Marine again have sort of been revived in the last sort of month, to be fair, because at one point they were as good as gone. And that's what we were talking about. You know, we're getting so many strange results at the moment in around these leagues because everyone's fighting for their lives to get every single point they can on the board. And Marine and Radcliffe are two sides that were been in the bottom four for a long time in the season, but they're both out of it now. So it just shows how much the league's changing. And Chester obviously needed a big win, obviously against a very depleted now Farsley Celtic. But to be fair to Farsley, they'll be looking at thinking, look, only to go down 1-0 against the league leaders, they would have probably put in a really good effort in that. I think Dave Stockdale's got what he's got at the end of the day, and he's just going to have to work hard to see if he can try and get a couple of wins under his belt and just make sure they don't go out with a whimper, because to be honest, they're going to go down. I mean, that's probably sorted, to be honest. But the case of, can they just compete and give their fans something to cling on for next season? If they do go next season, obviously we hope they do. But that's probably a few of the probably big standouts of the weekend, I would say.
I have got Chris's match report as well. 3 pages, Chris, and I've got a dodgy eye, so bear with me.
Oh, no.
I feel like I have to get right on top of my screen now, but then everyone can see like my squint. Right, so Kidderminster away. The Moors got a very good 3-1 win over a playoff contending team in Kidderminster. Scored within the first 40 seconds of the game from a free kick and from the footage. Ollie Dyson seemed to have got the final touch to make it 1-0, and we had to deal with a lot of pressure after that Second half, Moore's got the penalty and Glenn Taylor. I feel like every week Glenn Taylor's mentioned. I love Glenn Taylor. Like, I love him and I don't even know him.
Yeah.
And put the penalty away. What a guy. What a guy. If I was a Spenny fan, I would have Glenn Taylor on the back of my shirt. I feel it, honestly. Kevin's got a goal back for the Harriers, but an error by the Harriers defence. And Glenn Taylor, again, helped himself to his second goal of the game. I mean, should we just adopt this man?
Pretty sure. So it's not
what a guy. I know. What a guy.
What a man.
Honestly. I feel like we need to go and watch Glenn Taylor.
Yeah.
Like, I might actually change my wallpaper. I might actually take my kids off my wallpaper right now and put Glenn
Taylor on there.
I'm joking.
Sorry, kids.
I'm not making a joke. You know how long that is for us? Christ. That's the idea of the country. I don't even have passports to get in.
Chris has put he's my man crush. I love it. Love it. I've never seen him, but I feel a new love for Glenn Taylor. Like, I do. Michael has put, bless him, I feel so sorry for Farsley because of their off-field issues. I know, it's so sad. As well, Luke has put, Farsley Celtic, if they go down, they just need to rebuild for next season. Everyone's going on about trying the chippy at Rochdale. Definitely do, to be fair. It's the best thing about the town. Don't come for the football, just come for the chippy and then go home. You'll be impressed. You'll be impressed. Don't watch the football, though. Glenn Taylor is popular with the Stockport County, for sure, as well. Could just put the National League North is sponsored by Glenn Taylor. I feel like we need a bank holiday for Glenn Taylor.
Yeah. When he scores again next weekend, we'll have a bank holiday Monday.
We'll have a bank holiday. None of us will go in work.
Yeah.
None of us. We'll just have a chill day. We've heard it here first. Anyone in the chat, if you just want a chill day, just say you're having a bank holiday for Glenn Taylor.
Yeah.
Can you write an email to me, Uni, saying
that?
Of
course I will. Of course I will. Of course. All of us will. We'll do it from the Absolute Football podcast. Chris will mention it as well. He'll tag in a picture. Tuesday's games as well. We had a lot of games on Tuesday. Am I right in saying Hereford actually won twice? Yeah. Back to winning ways. I'll quickly go to Chris's chat. I swear if he's not named now, I'll be fuming. So, Marine at home, Tuesday night's game was a very frustrating one. Not only hitting the post twice, the ref being questionable, but worse enough, getting 2 injuries before the big game on Saturday. Oh my God, there's no mention of him. Maybe we shouldn't have a bank holiday. The only goal came on the 6th. No, he better not be now. To go to therapy. The only goal came on the 69th minute when a through ball found Finlay Sinclair Smith. Oh, I like that name. Who slapped the ball into the back of the net. We piled on the pressure, but just couldn't get the result. And then Michael has asked, are you going to the game, Chris, on Saturday? You better have be. Better have be. You have to go. Any other standouts on here for anyone?
So
like I need these.
Yay. At least one team winning. Positive.
I mean, can't look past Brackley's 6-1 win against Rushall, to be fair. I know Rushall sitting at the bottom again. They're probably a side that are as good as gone, to be honest, from the National North, unless they put some sort of a hell of a run together. But for Brackley, where they've sort of been slipping, they haven't been anywhere near probably as good as they have been in recent years. But now they've really given themselves a chance because I think look at the table, to be fair, because we were talking about the National South being tightest league in English football at the moment. I think the National North's overtaken that because I think you're talking 5 points in first and fifth.
Have a quick look.
So, that's ridiculous. You think the games in hand as well for Scunthorpe and Brackley, they can overtake Chestnut. So it's certainly not the equation. Even if Chorley pick up a win as well, the game in hand. Hereford as well, they've seemed to be hitting a bit of form as well now because they were out of the period of time, and they've just suddenly hitting getting the right results now at the time they need to be. So it's certainly anyone's game to be there, at least for that top 5. I think Kidderminster, unless they can make it up for it with the 2 games in hand, can't see them really clipping onto the title. But certainly could be anyone's game between 1st and 5th at this moment in time. But I feel like though as the weeks go on now, it will start to gradually get smaller and it'll probably be between potentially 2 teams, but who knows? It's such an open league. Down at the bottom and at the top, it keeps changing weekly at the moment. Just no one knows. That's the thing. That's the beauty of it, is that no one actually knows. So how it can go.
That is mad.
That is mental.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I think when you look, to be fair, I think probably the 22nd to 24th, you're probably thinking they're free, probably gone. To be honest, 9 points age is a big ask for them to make up. So I think we're probably looking at maybe one of Marine, Ratcliffe, Oxford, and Needham Market to go down potentially. I think Southport probably from Southport outwards are probably going to have enough to get a few more extra points, unless really bad run gets in the way of that. So honestly, it must be such an exciting league to be part of. I mean, but the thing is, obviously, for spending more, they're sort of in between, right? Where they're not going to go down, but they're on an outside chance of the playoffs. So they're probably one of the few teams that are sort of in a bit of a limbo at the moment. Think, where we're going to finish. Everyone else seems to be playing for something, but they seem to be just like mid-table obscurity at the moment. But I'm sure Chris will be sort of still optimistic that they can have a late charge for those playoff places.
I just wanted to come to these comments as well, because I addressed that Sam did the graphics at the start, but even if he didn't do the graphics, I don't know if anyone's noticed. But I have one eye. So come on, even if Sam didn't do the graphics, cut me some slack if I did them. I have one eye. I'm here, please. Come on. We cover 6 leagues, and usually it's a double game week, so it's just 2 mistakes. If you can't get past these colours by now, then I'm sorry. But I just wanted to address the elephant in the room. It was Sam, bless him, because I did the hosting for him in the Premier League. He said, I'll do the graphics for you. But even if it wasn't Sam, come on, give me a break. Come on, please. I beg at this point. Morgan has put as well, Shy, you say the National League is chaos, but I think the National League North is even more chaotic. So much happens each week. It really is, honestly. North, South, and National League, them leagues, I love them. Yeah. I absolutely love them. Lucas put, Scarborough haven't hit the heights as I expected they would do this season. I thought they would do well when the season was about to start.
Yeah, I'd be in agreement with that.
Yeah. Graham has put as well, never put the bear with the graphics of 32 leagues to do it. Exactly. Exactly. Be thankful we do the graphics. Come on. We could just have a podcast without any, and you'd have to get your phones up and look at your results. We're allowed to have a mistake here and there. We're only human. So, top of National League North, we have Chester on 66 points. Scunthorpe United are second on 65 points. Brackley Town are third on 64 points. Hereford, I can't believe that, because last time we were on, I'm pretty sure I was going on about how they were very inconsistent. And I feel like I've only been missing a week and already they've shot to 4. Wow. Wow. They are 4th on 62 points. Chorley are 5th on 61 points. Kidderminster are 6th on 57 points. King's Lynn Town are 7th on 56 points. And then in the relegation zone, Ant's going to be gutted, isn't he? Bless him. Needham Market are 21st on 32 points. Warrington Town are 22nd on 26 points. Farsley Celtic are 23rd on 26 points, and Rushall Olympic, they are bottom of National League North on 26 points. Chris has mentioned as well, after the trophy game, we have Darlow at home. Oh, great. Don't worry, Super Glenn Taylor. Remember that name. Ben, do you want to talk through the results first, or do you want to talk about your game?
Yeah, let's talk about the results first. I think for me, the standout of the weekend was Chelmsford's win against Torquay. They came back from 2-0 down in the second half, scored 2 very late goals, I'm pretty sure. I think 89th minute and 94th minute or something. Torquay fans obviously not particularly happy because they feel like that was a big chance missed to close the gap at the top. Chelmsford, again, one of those sides have been very consistent this season. They've hit a couple of really good results, but then have lost against some of the lower sides this season. So they would have really looked at that and thought we need to sort of get our season back on track a little bit. And that's a long way home for Torquay. I can tell you that after a 3-2 defeat like that. Yeah, I think they just tactically. I think the manager reckons they sort of got it wrong. I think the players didn't manage the game as well they should have done. You think 2-1 up in the last few minutes, you should be doing everything you can to stop, to just not let the game flow. And obviously they hadn't done that, and it was just games Chelsea the helping hand. And to be fair, once they get a goal at that place, the fans, they have got a passionate fan base there that do really get behind them, and can really make some noise there, even in that the sort of state that they play in. So yeah, that was good. But even then, I think probably to be fair, a couple of the draws were like sort of probably the standouts in terms of how it came about, because Eastbourne were 3-1 up against Hemel and they've dropped 2 points there, and the same with Dorking, 2-0 up against Farnborough, dropped 2 points there. And I know our friend Mr. Mark White was not happy, because I think the first thing he said in his first post match was shit. So that tells you.
That's what I want Jim to be like.
I just miss all this honesty. Why managers always have to be like a robot? Like, we want this passionate manager.
Yeah.
Tell it how it is. And yeah, that's the it just that just shows how it's changing. And as we're saying, Hemel, one of those sides, and same with Farnborough, still got something to play for. And you can never, lower your guard in this division, because the moment you do that, you give teams a fighting chance. And that's a massive credit to, particularly Hemel, because Eastbourne, to be fair, they've been unbeaten at home this season, and to come back from 3-1 down away from home, and they're a good footballing side. Eastbourne found that out on Tuesday, and yeah, that's a credible point for them. So yeah, I think that's probably real standouts. Apart from that, really, it's sort of as straightforward as it can be, I think, to be fair.
Do you want to talk about your game?
Oh, I can do, yeah.
I mean, Sam's done you dirty with the colour.
Yeah.
Actually,
I had to make sure, actually, we didn't draw the game, did we? And to be fair,
I know, Sam's done you dirty.
Well, to be fair, I think for long periods, though, I thought it was going to end 0-0, because the first half, up there, one of the worst 45 minutes I've seen this season. It was just nothing about it. It was two sides that have struggled to score goals in recent weeks, and it could clearly show. I think the best chance came probably about a minute before half-time. Arch Krasnicki, we brought back in on, he's been on loan at Billericay Town for the last 3 months. We brought him back into the side. Somehow missed an open goal from about 12 yards out when Aaron Blair squared it to him. And, he just thought in that moment, he thought, that was probably the chance. I think he just needed to put his laces through it. Second half, we made a tactical change. We brought on Tom Leahy, who we've just signed on loan from Millwall to the end of the season. And for me, completely changed the game. We looked a completely different side. He just looked more of a centre forward, making those clever runs in behind, sort of splitting their defence, giving Aaron Blair a little bit more time as well, because he's been very isolated. He has Aaron Blair in recent weeks, and a lot of teams have nullified his strengths, which has obviously been a big frustration, because that's where our goals have been coming from of recent. But then obviously the first goal comes out, from a corner. Do you know what? 2 minutes before we scored our first goal, I was saying, when was the last time we scored from a corner? Because I saw we've had about 50 corners, and we just haven't tested the keeper once. But thankfully, Ben Brooks whipped it in, and Reece Greenwich, talking about man 6'7", heading it past the keeper to give us a lead. And I felt like a big relief had been lifted off the players, because they've gone 3 games without a goal, and also creating chances has been very limited. But and then suddenly you wait. I've waited a couple of weeks to use the goal graphics once, and then suddenly I get to use them twice in the space of 4 minutes, because then Aaron Blair decided to turn up and get his 16th goal of the season. Tremendous finish as well. He latched onto a mistake at the back, sort of smashed it left foot into the roof of the net. No chance for the keeper. And then we were very comfortable, to be fair. And I was a bit surprised with Bath, because when we went up there earlier this season, we drew 3-3, and they looked like they were going to score every time they came forward. And that's been a rarity for them, to be fair. But I could tell that they've got good players on their side, but they just look very much lacking a proper goal scorer at the moment. I know they've got Scott Wilson, who tends to score a lot for them, but he's been isolated in recent weeks for them. And yeah, we were very comfortable up until sort of stoppage time, when Charlie Seaman, our right back, ran about half the pitch, doing some pretty good skill as well before finishing into the bottom right-hand corner. And yeah, that was a big win for us, that was, because we felt like we needed that just, to sort of get everyone back on side a little bit, because it felt like our season was, slowly, petering out a little bit, and we didn't want that to happen. So it just sort of kept us in there, especially with a lot of the teams around us winning as well. So we needed to do that. But the 3 points was ideal, but obviously it didn't go to plan on the Tuesday. So it's almost like two steps forward, 1 step forward, 2 steps back again.
Two
so
step back.
inconsistency, isn't it? Nope, he's now moved on to Worthing now. The man's had more clubs this season than I've had hot dinners, honestly. He had a week at Epsom. They brought him in as an emergency loan signing because I think Mark Cousins was injured, and then he was on the bench. If he was put on the bench, which I thought was bizarre, because I would have him as a starting lineup, to be honest. But yeah, Worthing, but I think it made a pretty risky decision, to be fair, because Chris Haig has been very reliable for them for the long periods of the season. He's been their number one all season. But I'm guessing they thought if he was available and the experience might get him, promoted potentially, then he's a keeper you want on your side. He's the best keeper in the National South, without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion. We proved that last season. You always feel confident with him in goal. The only thing is for him, he hasn't had a run of games in recent weeks since he's left Braintree, so I don't know whether that's going to have any effect. But for Worthing to have two number ones in their team now, then that's an absolute bonus for them. It might just give them a bit of an extra push towards the title, but still a long way to go on that.
Do you want to talk about the next game and get it out of the way?
Yeah.
No?
Come on. No, I talk about it. Eastbourne, look, that was it was a game where I thought we couldn't lose. I think it had that feel about it because, if we won the game, we would have gone above them on goal difference with the game in hand. A draw would have been good because obviously then we had a win. A draw, we would have still had the game in hand, which we go above them. But if we lose, we go 6 points behind them. And it was a game where both sides very much cancelled each other out. It was played at a very good pace, to be fair. It just chances were very much lacking in the final third. It was a very, very physical battle, and Eastbourne looked a completely different side to when we played them earlier on the season, where I thought we completely dominated, but. The difference was in that game that we scored two absolute worldies, and we had some, really promising forward players now that are not with us anymore. So that was a big difference. But yeah, I was obviously disappointed about the result. Obviously it hurt because they're not a bad side, Eastbourne, and obviously we wanted to stay intact with them. And I just felt like that was our last chance, if you like, to really go for the title charge again. And I think that's gone now. I think it is a case of now we need to stay in the playoffs. To be fair, the goal came of absolutely, nowhere really, where it's our one moment of lapse in concentration with Sam Corns, got absolutely no one around him. He's tried to head the ball back. He only needed a shout of time and, could have brought it down. He's headed it back. They've played it in on goal and George Alexander slots it into the near post. So it's a good finish, to be fair. I have to say as well, referee, goodness me, I had the referee assessor right next to me and I would have loved to have seen his notes at the end of the game. Don't get me wrong, it's obviously he's not killed a game or anything like that for us. But the thing is, though, he gave us a red card about 2 minutes after we conceded, which is never a red card in a million years. I've watched it back so many times. It was definitely a free kick and 100% a yellow card, but I think it was very harsh to give him Rafe Brown a red. His foot was low. He still had 1 foot on the ground. The thing that got him sent off, and if you watch Eastbourne's version of their highlights, was the sound of the contact, because it didn't sound nice. But when I watched it back, and I thought it's actually not that bad. The challenge, it could have been a lot worse. Yeah. And obviously all their benches off as well, having to go at the fourth official, and that's what gave into the pressure on the ref. And I think he knew that because 2 minutes later they got a sending off as well. Second yellow. There was never a second yellow in a million years again. So I think the ref clearly did that to even things up because he knew he'd probably messed up. Again, it didn't really make so much of a difference with 10v10. We just couldn't create any chances. I don't think the keeper was tested once, but then again, they never really tested us once until they scored. It's a difficult one. We were all quite deflated after it a little bit because we just thought that it would have been a really good result there. Because look, I said before, Eastbourne are unbeaten at home. They're doing, Adam Murray's done a fantastic job there this season. He's recruited really well. They are a good footballing side, and I dare say they will be in that top 7 at the end of the season with 100% because they've got everything, to be honest, to have a real good go in the playoffs, to be fair, because I wouldn't put it past them not to go up. They've got some good attacking players, and they look very confident what they do. They've got an identity about them. So, if they do go on to get promotion or, get into the player final, I think that'd be a great achievement for them. But then again, I'd almost expect them to be there at this moment in time.
I love this comment from Luke as well. Really positive. Really glad you covered National League South. Not too educated on this. I appreciate it. That's really lovely, that, isn't it? I love that.
You get to spend enough time as I do on it now. I clearly don't have any life, do I? I'm just watching that.
Don't be silly. Michael has put as well, Truro being 5th is crazy. John Askey is doing a crazy job. And he's asked you a question as well. Are they really that good, Ben?
They're very organised, and I mean, I must say they have, surprised me this year because I think then again, I think they'll put them in the bottom 4 at the start of the season. My predictions, but John Asker, I think that was the only thing that might have given them hope for me that they might actually have a good season. I didn't think they'd be where they are. To be fair, I mean, they are again a part-time side. They have to travel, a bit like Torquay, they have to travel all across the country. They have some real long away games, to be fair, and for their supporters, but they must be absolutely loving life. I mean, they've got a brand new stadium. The team's doing really well on the pitch. They're still in a title charge at the moment. I think they've probably got a better chart of it than we have at the moment. But yeah, no, John Ask, he's been the big key for them to doing well. I think when they came to us at the start of the season, they've done a job on us. They deserve to win the game. Obviously, we got a win up there, which I think was one of our best results of the season so far. They're just effective at what they do. They're very good in the counter attack. They've got some good players. Tyler Harvey, he's been a massive key aspect for them in the last couple of years, even in their quest to stay up last year. They are, a force to be reckoned with. And again, I think that's the thing at the moment in this time, and that top 7, I don't think we're probably the strongest out of this top 7, but there are certainly some sides there where I think they could all go up for different reasons. It's been, as I said, it's a strong National South this season, and it's too tough to call at the moment. Even there's still the title. I mean, Worthing I thought might slip up because they were losing for long periods of the game at Salisbury on Saturday, came back and won the game 3-2. They've still got a couple of games in hand as well. But then again, all these teams have still got to play each other. I'm pretty sure Dorking have still got to play Worthing. We still have to play Dorking, Royal Wood. I think Eastbourne have still got to play the other sides in the top. So it's going to chop and change, over at least the next month. I think it won't be until about April time when we really start to think, okay, we know where the title sort of going. I feel like March is going to be such a key month now, and it's probably going to declare where everyone's going to be, I think, at the end of the season now. So, yeah, I'm looking forward still to the challenge, but I think for us, it's just, can we just get in the playoffs now? Because I don't think we're good enough to win the league anymore, to be honest. And that's a massive shame, but there we go, it's football.
Got a couple of questions as well for you, Ben. Graham has put, are the fans still behind the team with this blip you're currently in?
They are behind the team. I think that they're behind the management. I don't think it's them that they're criticising. I think, to be fair, a lot of it has been directed at the owners of the club, because obviously there's people saying that we've lacked ambition this year, that we haven't tried to keep hold of some of those players that have got us to where we were, on that 18-game unbeaten streak. I think that's where it sort of lies, because I feel sorry for George Ellicoe because he's doing everything he can at the moment. To be fair, I think the recruitment they've done, in the last week's actually been very good. Tom Leahy looked every bit of, the piece that we've been missing since the likes of Matt Rush and Anthony Papadopoulos left. They've been, key, to be honest, in our success. But then Leahy looked, the part. I think he came off after about 60 minutes because he'd had a tight hamstring, and obviously we're trying to build his game, game minutes up because he hasn't played much recently. But I think the team, they're not getting booed off or anything like that. Like I say, Tuesday, pretty much most of the majority of the fans that stayed behind after the game clapped the team off. Shook hands with the players as the players always do with them. So they are behind us. I think at home, I've always said at home we're under so much pressure at home because you've got 2,000 expectant fans to turn up and see us win. But away from home, I think the pressure's always off us a little bit. So that's probably why our home record hasn't been as great as it has been in years that we've had success at the club. It's a difficult blip for them, but I still have the confidence that we can secure ourselves a playoff place. It's still touch and go. It's a case of, can we get a couple of weeks ago and just keep ticking off a few wins here and there? That's what's going to do it for us. Our run to the end of the season isn't too bad, to be fair. I mean, if we get a win on Saturday against Salisbury, who are really struggling at the moment, and they weren't a great side when we went up there early in the season, then suddenly, you start to look upwards again. So that's the thing; it changes so quickly. So I think George just put it down on Tuesday to look. It's a defeat. We're all a bit deflated by it because there wasn't anything in the game, but look, it's just one of those, just regroup and go again. Basically, there's no point dwelling on it because we've still got another 11 games to go. So hopefully we've still got a shout come at least April time.
We will we have got some midweek fixtures, and I've got a question as well. Would Eastbourne be able to handle themselves in the league above? They have been at that level before.
I think at this moment in time, no. I think even any of the teams that come out of this league, I think are going to struggle because I've said the gap between the National South and the National League is so massive. Everyone that seems to find that out. I think if Boreham Wood managed to do it, they've got the experience. They know the league really well. I think they've got everything they can to stay in there. But everyone else, I think it's a bit of a difficult one. Dorking obviously have had a bit of experience. Obviously, we've had a bit of experience, but it's only ended up inevitably in coming back down. So Eastbourne, they would have to change a lot, but then again, they've got everything behind them at the moment. They've got a chairman that's, put a lot of money into that club. I think they train more times than we do. I think they're 4 days a week they are. So they're pretty much a full-time side, in that division. And I think that would give them maybe the best hope. Maybe attracting players might be a bit tougher considering the area they're in the country. But then again, Worthing might have that same problem as well. But yeah, I don't think they'd do badly, but I'd certainly think they'd be in a relegation battle without doubt for me. I think they'd struggle to get above the top half of their league.
Any standouts on here for you, Ben?
Obviously, I think, Farmers win at Worthing was a massive one, to be fair. I think Worthing, to be fair, I think they, were a little bit fortunate against Salisbury last Saturday. I think they had a goal go for them where maybe the ref should have blown up for a foul for a head injury in the box. So they had that little bit of luck, and maybe some of those top teams haven't had. But Farnborough, to be fair to them, like I say, that's a good week for them. Picking up 4 points away from home against two, promotion candidates, and their season. A lot of their fans said their season was sort of done and dusted, really. But looking at the table, they are still a bit away off. I think 10 points might be a bit too much for them to make up. But they're sort of playing with not really much pressure because they're not going to go down or anything like that. But that was probably a massive result and a big, sort of slip up for Worthing. I think that was a chance for them to really make their statement in the league, but they've still got a couple of games in hand, so it's still in their hands really. So I'd be interested to see how they react from that. St Albans, to be fair, they've really picked up now. They're I think, to be fair, of any of those sides that's going to get out of danger, I think it's going to be them. I think they're too good for me not to stay up. I think Welling have really been dragged into it now. They just can't seem to find a win from anywhere, and apparently it's as comfortable as it could be on Tuesday for Tunbridge against them. So I can't see them staying up. Enfield, they've sort of had a couple, they had a really good run of form. I think they won 4 games in a row, and it slipped a little bit in the last couple of games. But again, if they've got that spirit that they've just had about 2 or 3 weeks ago, they've got every chance of staying in the division. I think, it's so tough to call because Salisbury really getting dragged into it as well. And at one point, they were miles clear away from the drop zone. They've been in a really bad form. Yeah. And I wouldn't put it past them not to go down. And that was a big defeat for them on Tuesday against Bath City because Bath, again, both were very much neck and neck with each other. And I thought, whoever sort of wins that, probably going to stay up. And, Bath would have been so pleased with that after the performance they had on Saturday against us, where they competed well. The effort was there from them, but they just didn't have the quality in the final third. So to win 2-1 away from home especially against a local rival as well in Salisbury, they would have, that will give them the world of confidence for Darren Wayside because they are, they shouldn't be in that position in the first place, especially after the season they had last year, getting into the playoffs. I'm very unfortunate to lose out in extra time in that. They should be, for me, good enough to stay up now. I think it's a case now of 2 of that bottom 4. Talking from Salisbury down to St Albans, that one's where we're sort of the question mark is because Weymouth and Weymouth and Aveley are both down for me. It's just a case of the other 2 other spots. It's going to be tough. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes, and I'm actually looking forward to the game on Saturday against Salisbury because this is the thing we said about teams having something to play for. At the end of the season, they've got just as much to play for as we have, and we will not be taking them lightly. I really hope not, because they're going to come and try to spoil the party a little bit, and they need points at the end of the day. And if they get a winning result against us, it could well start another run for them. Look at Slough, what they did when they beat us and went on to beat Worthing 4-0. Confidence is a massive thing, in football, and this is, that could be a kickstarter for them to go and run to the end of the season. But that'll be interesting to see how that pans out for them.
Just got a couple of comments in the chat. Green Acres has come on and put, if you talk to people from outside the UK, they are amazed how big the crowds are for National League North, and National League South games.
Yeah. I think the St Albans Boreham Wood game, albeit it was a derby, it was 2,700, I think, possibly down there, which is crazy, to be fair, considering, look, no disrespect to Boreham Wood, but their fan base, you think how many they get there every week. I think they took quite a good number, to be fair, down there. And St Albans have always been a well-supported club in this division. They always tend to get just over 1,000. So to have 2,700 there is absolutely mental. And, that's the thing. There's so many big clubs in this league. And the interest is there. And to be fair, social media has been a big part of that. You look at Dorking Wanderers interest they've generated from a bunch of amateurs. Eastbourne have got a big social media following. Obviously, we're ex-Football League ourselves. Boreham Wood were, a couple of kicks away from getting into the Football League themselves. So there's a lot of big clubs, down in National North and National South, and
definitely
that's why everyone's turning to non-league football, because everyone's so disinterested now from the Premier League and everything like that because of the price. Everyone is now starting to turn to lower league football, where that would be from obviously Rebecca and Jen going down to League Two, and then going further down to the National League and further. It's mental how non-league has become so popular now in recent years. It's certainly on the horizon now, like compared to what it was back even 10, 15 years ago. So I'm really pleased that these divisions are getting the recognition it deserves, because so many people put so much time into this. And I'm absolutely delighted, because it puts English football right in the map. That's why I think we've got the best
100%.
pyramid in the world for me, in football.
I'm not too sure of this one. I don't know if you know a little bit more, Ben. Alid has asked, weren't St Albans looking at a new ground not that long ago? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't really have much knowledge of that. And that would be a shame, to be fair, if they moved, because I really like going to their ground. It's a very old-fashioned ground, albeit media facilities-wise, it is probably one of the worst in the league, because I can't see a thing. It's a proper old-school ground. Even when you go to the turnstiles, it's so old-school it is. And I would be ashamed if they move away there. But I haven't seen much about that, to be fair. I'll have to look into that.
I know I weren't really familiar with that. Just having a quick look as well at some of the comments I've starred. Chris has put, unbelievable how close it is in the table between first and eighth. I know. And he's put 8 points between those teams. I will read out the table now as well. So, top of the table, we have Dorking Wanderers on 66 points. Eastbourne a second on 65 points. Boreham Wood a third on 64 points. My God, it is close, isn't it? Worthing a fourth on 62 points. Truro City a fifth on 61 points. Torquay United a sixth on 60 points. Maidstone United a seventh on 59 points. And then in the relegation zone, we have in 21st is Enfield Town on 32 points. St Albans City a 22nd on 31 points. Weymouth a 23rd on 23 points. And Averley are bottom of the National League South on 23 points. Ella just put in the chat, Marina hoping to get a new ground soon. And Chris has said that it looks very nice. Very nice. We'll go to League Two. So I don't know who wants to talk first. Jen and Rebecca, I'll let you choose amongst yourselves. Rock, paper, scissors.
So I'm happy to get Saturday out the way. I'll get Saturday out the way, but I will spend a bit on Tuesday.
No problem. Go on, Rebecca. Go for Saturday's game.
We had Doncaster at home. It was such a frustrating match. It was one mistake from us that cost us a point at the end of it. I think, to be honest, I was shocked at Doncaster because they didn't show up, I'll be honest. They had one shot on target, bearing in mind they won 2-1, but they only had one shot on target, which we'll get to. They just didn't show up at all. It was a quick start from them. Again, frustrating from an Aki perspective. We concede goals quite early, and with our recent run of form of, I think it was 6 matches with 6 shots on target. We just couldn't get a shot off. It was a really frustrating period, but to go down early, you're just like, oh, for God's sake, here we go again. We just didn't know which way it was going to go. We did make a really early change of bringing on Josh Woods for Sonny Al-Joffrey, in which, I will be honest, I had the panic of thinking, oh my God, Josh Woods is playing as left back again, which I'm still confused as to why we did it the first time, and that will haunt me forever. But thankfully, we did play him up front where he belongs, and he did have a huge impact. We did become more attacking, and we still only had one shot on target, but we did have chances. We were getting the ball where it needed to be. Seamus Keneally on the score sheet. Incredible to see him scoring. It was a very well-worked goal, but then 4 minutes later, Ben Ward scores an own goal, and it just wiped it out. So it was a frustrating one. Doncaster did have someone sent off really late on, but it wasn't enough time for it to make any impact. But to be honest, I think Aki could have finished the match with think it was like a lot were saying Ben Woods could have been sent off because there was a bit of a tangle of feet, let's say. So yeah, it was an annoying one. We should have had the point, but we went on Tuesday and we will get to that after.
I'm looking at Jen now thinking, do you want to talk about Saturday?
Again, it's just getting frustrating at this point. Like,
I feel like all of us have used that word, haven't we, tonight? But the word of the day, isn't it, for all four of us?
Walsall at the top of my hate list. Like, they're very,
on the shit list.
Yeah, they're right at the top now. Their manager is an absolute fucking arsehole. Like, genuinely. There's a video. I'll try and find it. I know. I'll send it in the group chat. But I've already had my therapy session, Graham. I don't need another one. But their manager he thinks he's something big. Let's just put it that way, because they're top of the league. He refused to shake Derek Adams' hand at the end of the game, so it all kicked off. I'll find the video and I'll send it in the group chat after.
Yeah, definitely.
But basically, Derek obviously went over to shake his hand, saying, "Well done, you beat us. You're top of the league for a reason." And he just goes, and Derek goes mental. God. And obviously, like, all the coaching staff are behind Derek because they're obviously all going over to shake his hand. And Derek, being Derek, obviously gets very, very angry. So, yeah, they came out afterwards and said that our pitch is shit. It's not worth playing on. It's the worst pitch they've ever seen. We are very aware that we are very aware our pitch is bad, and there's a reason our pitch is bad. And the groundskeepers are trying their best to maintain this grass at the minute because it has an infection in the grass and there's nothing they can do about it except rip it off at the end of the season. So for him to come out and say that stuff, I just think is atrocious. Their fans were also horrific on Twitter. Like, Aki fans, yeah, we have our banter and we're obviously like rivals and stuff, but never once have they come out and said, you deserve to go down. But Walsall fans were left, right and centre, tweeting every Morecambe fan saying, oh, that's it now, you're going down. And it's frustrating, like, but I'd never seen a manager react like that. Like, okay, you're top of the league, I get it, you've got the money, you've got the owners, but like, if you really sit back as a manager and as players, as fans, and realise why we're in the position we are, then maybe you'd be a bit more nicer about it. But I think it was the Rie that I think it's called Matt Sadler, I think. Not 100%. It was the way he reacted to Derek that I was just like, that is disgusting behaviour. Like, there's no need for you not to shake the manager's hand.
No.
Like, Derek is the nicest man in football. Like, how many people's hands have he had to shake when we've lost games? Like, I just felt sorry for Derek in that situation because he was fuming. All the other coaching staff was trying to drag him away from him because he was going to kick off. The players had to get involved because we knew it was going to kick off. And I think as for the game, it was one of them where we could have got a draw from it. I think we could have taken it to a draw and got a point out of it. I said last week.
Crashed. I'm so sorry. It's crashed. There we go.
I said last week that Reece Williams is obviously my favourite loan player from Liverpool. What does he go and do on Saturday? Gets himself sent off.
Oh, no. Now,
I've had this debate quite a lot. He pulls the guy's shirt and the guy rolls himself on the floor, basically. We've had that done to us countless times this season. Not a yellow card, not a red card, nothing. I think it was the way that Reece reacted after he'd done it. Like, he literally just pulled his shirt up to his face and knew that he was coming. Whereas if he would have reacted and just gone, all right, I'm sorry, maybe he would have got yellow for it. But now he's out for 2 games. We've lost Reece, probably one of our best players. And then they get a free kick from that, obviously. They score the free kick. And it's just like, here we go again. And I think it made the players, the heads just went down because they were like, here we go again. It's difficult, obviously, with the goalkeeper situation. Harry decided to go down halfway through the game. I was just like, get your ass back up right now. Like there was no sub goalkeeper on the bench. I was like, you get your ass up right now. there's no one else to go in there. Like,
not today.
like, get your ass up. But no, he was fine. That was just like, if Harry goes down, like we didn't have our academy goalkeeper on the bench. It was just like, oh God, what would we actually do if Harry went down and had to go off? But it was just frustrating. Like, it's getting to that point now where obviously Carlisle are probably going to win this game. They are now matched on points with us. We are only above them via goal difference. It's got to that stage now where it's like, shit. Like, we need to win games. Like, it's cutting down to the wire now that something needs to happen. But we've got Gillingham away tomorrow on Saturday. Liam leaves tomorrow to go down. They haven't won in 13 games. Now, me and Liam have had a discussion this week. We're either going to win 1-0 or they're going to win 1-0. I just think it's going to go either way, and we need it to go our way, pretty much. We need to win games now. It's getting to that stage where it's not getting to the point like, oh, we might go down. It's just a bit like, okay, like, let's turn this around. Let's get some goals in the back of the net and we'll be fine. I still think we will survive. I just think, obviously, Rebecca will talk about it after, but Tranmere are horrendous. Like, I was watching the game on Tuesday. Me and Liam were sat there watching it, and there's no oomph. There's no fight. There's nothing there. And obviously we'll talk about the crowd and stuff, but we was watching it and we could hear like how horrible the Tranmere fans were being to their own players. Like, very toxic. Me and Liam were just sat there like, it's so toxic. And we're sat there like, we're second bottom and we don't boo our players off. We don't do anything or say anything horrible to Derek or the players. Like, to be... I'd never, ever seen a team so toxic like that before. So I don't think it's going to pick up for Tranmere. I can't see it picking up for them. I think by some miracle we're going to survive because they are just worse than us. But hopefully we can get a win on Saturday. And we'll see what happens in the next games and stuff. But what I said from the start, whatever happens. We cannot blame Derek. We cannot blame the boys. We cannot blame any of the staff behind the scenes. It's all blamed on one man, and that is our owner. If we would have sold before the start of the season or even sell now, we'd probably be fine. But if we manage to survive, I generally think Derek Adams will seriously be one of the most loved men in Morecambe.
I just want you to survive. I really do. It's gonna happen, Jen. It's happening.
I hope so.
It's happening. As Graham said as well, #Jason out. We completely agree.
I
know. I'm amazed how Adkins lasted this long. Only 2 wins since November.
Yeah, I don't know how he's still in a job, but then people can come out and say, why is Derek Adams still in a job? But we wouldn't get anyone else if Derek left, and Derek could leave at any point. Like, he could say, no, I'm not doing it, I'm going. Like, he could. But I think as Tranmere, they've known how bad it's got. Why have they not changed it sooner?
Do you reckon it's because I think they struggled to get someone in really last time? Obviously, Nigel Adkins has gone there. Because didn't he come in initially as like a director in football or something? And then he then became manager. And I'm wondering whether they're struggling, like whether it's financially, whether it's behind the scenes, whether they're struggling to attract people. I just don't know, because I feel like at Tranmere it's been going on for a while now.
Yeah,
like, since obviously they had Nicky Mellon and things like that, and then they've slowly gone downhill, haven't they? I think
Tranmere pretty much got the same issue as we have, that they have bad owners. And I think I said it last week to a couple of my friends, saying if you look at the bottom two, even Carlisle, like, they've got money, but why are they bottom of the league? Like, I don't understand how you've got these owners, these new owners, and you're bottom of the league. It doesn't make sense. Whereas for Tranmere and Morecambe, who have bad owners, we're still like above you. Like, that's one thing that really confuses me, how Carlisle's owners are putting money into this club, because they should be more than fine. They should be like mid-table, but for some reason, they're really struggling at the bottom. And I think they signed like 10, 15 players in the January transfer window, and they're still like bottom. It's confused me at Carlisle, it really does.
What I didn't understand with Carlisle as well is they let, obviously, the manager sign them players and he sacked him straight away without him even playing those players or having time to obviously get the team together to gel. And then they've brought in Thingy, haven't they? What's his face?
Mark Hughes.
That's the one. I couldn't think of his name.
It's I just think it's very weird what's going on at Carlisle. I can't put my finger on it, but something just doesn't feel right behind the scenes. Something's weird.
Yeah.
Well, I think we always said though with what we said about recruitment, like as Luke was saying about Gateshead, thing like they work on a small budget, but they've managed to attract so much talent. For me, I've always said, money obviously gives you a bit of an advantage, but it never guarantees you success. And that's the thing. If you haven't got a recruitment team that pick up on the best players that's going to fit your team and fit your system, and you've got no chance. And I think that's the thing. I think the recruitment team need to be looking at a big hard look at themselves, because it's quite clear that what the players they've recruited over the summer haven't worked at all. You can put them on good contracts and good money for that level, but if they're not delivering on the pitch, they can easily get complacent, and that's what it's been like all season for them, really. So I still it's still tough to call really who goes down, but I think as Jen said, I think I mentioned to Rebecca the other day, it's like Tranmere, a club that are under huge pressure in terms of their fan base because they expect a lot, and they've worked so hard they have to get from National League back to what they were in League One.
Yeah,
and to go back from that down to National League again, it would be devastating for them. For such a big club in that division. With lovely stadium, really good support base and a good area of the country as well for them. Footballing wise, they can attract some good players there, and I just can't believe how badly it's gone for them. And that's the thing. I think we've said it for so many weeks now. That will keep Morecambe up because they've got that spirit. And they haven't got the expectation, to be fair, because the expectation probably is that, if we go down, there's not much we can do about it at this moment in time. But the fact is that might just get them through it. And that's the thing. They're not getting on players' backs. And that's the difference. And Tranmere, every defeat, it's just more abuse for the players and more, and obviously, I've lost a manager now. I still think even if whoever they bring in next, even if it's a, interim sort of basis, it's not going to probably work because they've got the same group of players now. They've just got to try and get a tune out of them somehow to stay in the division. Otherwise, they're in serious danger of dropping back into the National League again.
Yeah, I think as Carlisle as well, obviously, in Tranmere, changing managers now, you can change a manager, but you still got to work with that team. He cannot bring anyone else in. He's still got to work with the team that he's been given. So realistically, I don't think anything's going to change for either of them two clubs now. No matter how much you change the managing system, it's just nothing's going to change.
It's like on the Carlisle situation, what I didn't understand is they brought in all these players to play a certain style of football in a certain formation. Mark Hughes does the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So it's like, what?
It doesn't make sense.
And they brought in a name.
Crazy.
Yeah, they brought in a big name, don't get me wrong, but big names don't necessarily mean you're going to be safe. No matter, and I know he's been there for Bradford before and he's got it out of Bradford, which fair enough, he has got the experience in League Two, which is massive. But when you brought in so many players to play a style of football and a formation of football, but then he plays the complete opposite, I just don't understand. I think something's going on at Carlisle behind the scenes because it's strange, isn't it? It's really strange.
Yeah, there must be something going on behind the scenes because there's no way a club that have just got new owners and got money pumping in at the bottom of the league. It just doesn't make sense. We're on the same points now, but I just don't understand how a team that actually has, I'd say, decent owners, but I don't actually know if they are bottom of League Two. I'm probably going to go into National League. It's crazy. I'd love to know from Carlisle fans what they think because they must be, I don't know if they're happy with what's going on at the club or they're just frustrated like everyone else is at the bottom of League Two.
It's even like Gillingham in some ways because I know they've got a lot of players and they're doing good things for the club, but on the pitch and manager-wise and things like that, it's not working out for them either. And you think the amount of quite good, solid players they brought in since these people have obviously. Is it called Brad Gallison or something?
Yeah.
Since he's came and they've done a lot of I speak to her game too, ambassador for Gillingham, Paige, and she says they've done a lot of positive stuff like off the pitch and stuff. But on the pitch, it just doesn't seem to be working. And you think of the quality of players they brought in as well. But even all these different styles of managers who play different fingers of football, they've obviously tried to go with experience with John Coleman now, and it just doesn't seem to be working out at all. And I just can't pinpoint it at the minute on these like clubs and the new owners. I just don't know what's going on.
No, it's so crazy.
It's crazy. Like when we went to Gillingham at the beginning of the season, if they'd have won, they'd have gone top of the league. And now they're right in it with us in the complete opposite direction.
Look at the table. We'll go back to the fixtures, but yeah, that is crazy, isn't it?
Like we're 2 points behind them, and we stopped them going top at league. Wow. It's crazy, and they've
had a massive fall off. When Leah was checking football the other day, he was just like, they haven't won in 13 games. Like,
wow,
what is going on? Like, it's crazy that how some of these teams are in the position that they're in. Like, there must be stuff like going on behind the scenes in some of these clubs that we don't know about. But we need some answer there. Like.
I called it with John Coleman when he went to Gillingham. I thought for the situation they're in, he was not that they needed at this moment in time. He's obviously he's done a tremendous job over the years with Accrington and everything. But going into a club that have got high expectations, they should be, as we were saying, should be at the other end of the table with the money they've got, and that, especially after the fantastic starts of the season they had. I think some of us put them as get promoted, and it's amazing how far it's all dropped off for them down there. I mean, like I say, 13 games, like that's relegation form. That, and if they can't seem to, that's the thing. I feel like Saturday is a must-win for them, and that's quite a good, good one. Morecambe to win because that will really give an indication if Gills have got the stomach for it to stay up. Because I didn't think I'd be saying that at the start of the season. If they lose that, their fans will be really starting to worry that they could go down. So I think Saturday's a massive one. I'll be keeping a close eye on that one, that's for sure. So come on the Shrimps.
We also have the 5-hour journey that Liam's doing tomorrow. Here we go.
We will have a quick look at the results, but just before that, Chris did mention about Bradford and how they're on fire at the minute. They are in very good form, aren't they? Sorry, I'm losing my voice at the minute. But yeah, against MK Dons as well, which everyone will be happy about. Do you know what, Rebecca? I'll come to you first. Any other standouts on here for you?
Notts County, purely just because Charlie Whittaker, who I've mentioned a few times on the podcast, he got 2 goals for Notts County, so I was over the moon for him. I was kind of hoping he got a hat trick, but they took him off before he could. But
that's my spot.
Yeah, that one was my standout because it's always good to see like an academy player for Everton do well, and he is a very talented one. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Doing well as well, Notts County, aren't they? Doing very well.
Very well.
Jen, any other standouts for you on here?
I'd probably say Swindon. Like they're just somehow they've managed to escape the dreaded drop, even with the bad ownership behind the scenes. I think they'll be absolutely fine now. I don't think they've got anything to worry about. But the fact that they're scoring and they're getting up that league is just incredible, considering everything that's going on behind the scenes.
And we love Uncle Nick too, don't we?
Yeah.
I like the fact that Accrington actually got a draw against Doncaster. I think I prefer this result, so thank you, Sam, for making that. I actually appreciate that one.
Oh no!
We're all Team Sam.
Yeah.
He could have got the Barnet Rochdale one wrong for me. Bless him. Oh no, bless him being a good sport though, doing my graphics. We love Sam. Yeah, Rebecca loves you even more. She loves you anyway, but even more now. Ben, any standouts or any you want to talk about on here?
The only one I would have mentioned, probably fair, actually, is they've gone under the radar quite a lot this season, Grimsby Town.
Yes, I was going to say that one.
I think like the 2-1 against Fleetwood, both sides have still probably got slight ambitions of the playoffs, and obviously Grimsby have got a far better chance for it. But considering where they were a couple of years ago, I mean, they were battling in the National League, and now they've always, every time they've come back into League Two, they've always struggled at the bottom end of the table. So it must be a bit of a breath of fresh air for their support players to see them, in that area, because the likes of Salford now have started to slip off a little bit, haven't they? And we were, at one point they were sort of sitting third place, so they've. I think there's been a few comments already in the chat about Carl Robinson and potential change of management. That I mean, I've just watched the latest series of the Class of '92 on Now TV, and I do you know what? Didn't think I was actually a big fan of Carl Robinson. I was actually a big fan of him after that. The way he gets into things, he's very much a beat your chest manager, and again a breath of fresh air for for professional football, because he was always threatening players. He was been like, if you're doing this, I will hang you up to dry, all that sort of thing. And look, I think if they got rid of him at this stage now, I think there'd be a massive mistake, because he's quite capable of getting him into the playoffs, albeit it's a bit of a difficult situation at the moment. I still think he's the best man for it. He got him into a really good situation last year. Obviously when the other manager got sacked, and sort of got him in a slight chance at the playoffs. They didn't have enough time in the end, and he's gotten to where they really should be this season. I think if they were to replace him, I think there'd be a massive mistake from the Class 92. But I've already said they're desperate to get out of League Two. They've been in that division now for about 5-6 years. That's a big stall, in what's been a high rise for them in the last 10 years. When they've gone from 8th tier to 4th tier, they won 3 promotions in 4 years, so they'll be really disappointed the way they are. But I think they're getting a little bit desperate now. I think they want to get out of the division, get into League One. So but Grimsby probably be the standout for me.
Do you know what I'm going to mention? And it's not really a standout because the other team are doing quite bad at the minute, quite inconsistent in Harrogate Town. But Bromley are really surprising me this season. Like, I just want to give them a shout out, because I think, and looking at the table as well, I mean, look at them. I wouldn't have had them 10th.
No.
I know it's a long season, but they're really, really doing well.
See, I would have backed them, to be fair, to actually have a really good season. Because we've played them enough times over the years, and obviously they're a local club to us, and the facilities they've got there are second to none. They are, they are a football league club for me. The facilities, the money they put into the club, they put a lot of money into that club, to be fair, and obviously the infrastructure as well. I think they've got a new stand that's been looking to be built as well. I'm not surprised by their first season in the football league. I think a few people feared them. I think midpoint thinking they were in the bottom half, but I wouldn't put it past them to still have a good late chance for the players. They've got some good players on that side. Keep Michael Cheek fit, he could get him into the players at his own. Massive goal scorer in the last, God knows how many years now in lower league football. And to be fair, he's probably actually been my surprise. I did think he might be a bit of a step too far for him, but he has delivered for them this season big time. And it's a credit to Bromley, and what they've done there with that football club, and also to the management, Andy Woodman. He's done a superb job there in the last couple of years. And if they do make the playoffs, massive fair play to them, because I think they are capable of it.
I do like Bromley. I feel like I've not really mentioned them enough, and they deserve to have a mention, because honestly, very, very good team. And like you said, Ben. But yeah, then I had to open my big mouth and look at the first result. But in their defence, Bradford are in very, very good form, aren't they? Very good form, and it was only 1-0. Only 1-0. And the second result, obviously, Cheltenham Town 2, Walsall 2, Gillingham 1, Fleetwood Town 2, and Tranmere Rovers 0, Accrington Stanley 1, Rebecca, big screen, talk to us. Yes.
It was a huge, huge, huge win for us. I mean, heading into it, we were all on the coach going like, oh my God, what is this match going to be? It was our 4th trip to Tranmere.
I know, season ticket holder at Tranmere, and you're an away fan. Loyalty card. Needed.
And we were yet to win. Like, we haven't had, there was like some people on the coach saying they've never seen Aki win at Tranmere. So it was one of them grounds where you go in thinking, oh my God, what could happen? And it was a very, very changed side. We did not expect the lineup at all. Ben Woods was suspended as he has picked up 10 yellow cards. So that was very unfortunate. But after 5 months of being out, we did see the return of one of my favourite Aki players. Seb Quirk was back.
Woo!
Yay.
Sorry, just had to
I don't
get
think
in
I don't think I've ever yelled as much as I did on the coach when I saw the starting 11. Because I was saying to my dad before it, because we've seen him warming up for the past few matches. I was like, right, he's getting closer to coming back now. So I was saying to my dad, like, I just felt like I was getting really excited for the lineup to come out. I was like, he's going to be sat on, he's going to be on the bench. Like, we're going to see him back. And they say it's starting 11. I was like, yes. But no,
because quirky lad.
He has had it really difficult with injuries. Like, he was out for 5 months this season. He's only played 5 matches for us this season. Tranmere was his 6th. And then last season he was out as well with, I think he snapped a tendon in his hamstring. So since coming to Aki, he's really not been lucky with injuries. So it was the best news to see him back, especially seeing we are still without Jay Batty and Rawson. I think Rawson could be back very soon. I think it was just concussion for him against Bradford. So hopefully we can have him back. But it was a very improved performance for us. I mean, Tranmere do have their issues, and I'll get into them. But we had, as I said, 6 shots in 6 matches. We had 5 shots on target in the Tranmere match, a clean sheet as well. So it was an all-round better performance. I mean, Seb on his return playing in left back to keep a clean sheet as well.
Love it.
Bearing in mind he is a midfielder, so we'll keep that in mind. And also a player that has been under quite a bit of criticism from fans of many different clubs as well as Aki's, but I will never criticise him. Bill Krellin, our keeper. I mean, it's one of them. For him to keep a clean sheet and pull off the saves he did, I was so happy. The fans were cheering his name, like singing his chant and everything. So it was just really, it was really nice to see, especially with the tweet that came out before the Doncaster match, which was him and 2 other players were involved in a car accident. So it was a bit of like a scary time. He did start against Doncaster, he started against Tranmere, so thankfully they were all okay. But that was just like another little thing that there was criticism behind that as well. There were jokes being made at him involving that, which was just horrendous to see. And I cannot believe what some people have said about it. But for him to do what he did and come back, and it was really nice. And then him celebrating at the end as well with all of the players was really nice. Another match, another Sean Woolley goal. There's no stopping him for us this season. And he has gone through a bit of a dry spell at the minute in terms of, it was the Player of the Month curse. He won
got that. He
won Player of the Month, and then it was just like, oh, right. But he's back scoring now, so we're all very happy. We could have been 2-0 up in the first half. We had decent chances from Ash Hunter and Alex Henderson, which was similar to when we played Morecambe. We could have been about 3-0 up in the first half with Tyler Walton's chances, but it's just Aki and things. We never make things that easy. I mean, Josh Woods, again, I'll mention him near enough every week. The shift he put in, he covered every single corner, every single bit of that pitch. It was going down at the end with cramp, and it was one of them where the shift he put in was incredible. It was a stressful watch after our goal. Tranmere did start going more attacking, and we did sit back defensively, but Devon Matthews, an incredible signing for us, and this clearance he made in the dying seconds to keep us in that match after a Bill Krellin save. It was just every fan, we were able to just breathe, because this is what we needed. It was a 6-pointer. We knew we had to win it, and this is seeing us pull a bit further away. We've got Harrogate on Saturday, so we're on the same points as them. If we get a win, if Morecambe are to beat Gillingham, we go above Gillingham. And it's like, I know...
No pressure, Jen.
Yeah.
I'll try my best.
But it's like, we're starting to hopefully see another positive run potentially, because we did go through a really struggle period where it was just consecutive losses, and there was, again, like Jen has said with Morecambe, we have never once gone against the players or anyone. It's one of them, we're always there clapping them off no matter what the result is, and it is just, that is what keeps them going. And for matches like Tranmere, yeah, the Doncaster match was the Doncaster match. We all applauded them off at the end, and it was one of them where without that, Tranmere could have been a completely different scenario. That match could have been a completely different ending because the fans had the impact. And we were all saying, if the 2 chances we had in the first half, if they'd have gone in, it would have been horrendous for Tranmere, the players. The fans were booing the players off, and like, they have some very talented players in that side, and they were causing us issues. They were booing them off. They were chanting towards the end, saying to like get the manager out, I think there was just chants at everyone, and it was just horrendous. I mean, for me, we were all just enjoying singing different Aki songs. So it was one of them for us. It was like we were just living our own like vibe and just enjoying it. Yeah. But it was, from like, to see Tranmere in the way that they are and to hear the fans being as they are, it's not nice to see, because no football fan should be treating the team that way. Because you back your team no matter what, and you're the one that can help the team more than anything, and they needed the fans.
It's like a 12th man, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your fans and the atmosphere can be like the 12th man and try and get the momentum and build on it. But I feel like with the toxicity sometimes, and I know everyone gets frustrated because at the end of the day, it's your team. You want to see them doing well. Like, you go there, you pay your money, and you are entitled to have your opinion. But at the end of the day, you're trying your absolute best, aren't it? And like you said, Rebecca, if you get behind your team, and I know obviously there is going to be frustrations because Tranmere, they've been down there, they've been up, haven't they? Like League One and things like that. And realistically, the size of the club and everything, they should be pushing like up League Two, League One standard because of the size of them. But at the minute, they need to just get their heads around that they're not at that level. They need to sort out the differences and what's going on behind the scenes, and then hopefully go back to the top. But I think that's what's frustrating me more than anything, and what frustrates me with like Dale as well. It's like they're a bunch of young lads there. They're just trying their best. It's not working out. Don't do that. Don't get on the backs. And they get really personal as well. It's not like you voice your opinion, you come on here and be like, oh, such a body had a bad game today. Or such a body should be dropped because I don't think he's looking that good, but such a body should replace him because he's looking that bit better. They go at them. They go at their families, and I just don't get it. Like, it's football at the end of the day. As much as we love it, don't target them personally. I think it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Sorry. I just needed to get that off my chest. Because like we've said, at the end of the day, if you can get behind your team, and even if they lose, but you're behind your team, you're singing, you're spurring them on, you can impact that. Like, you can impact like how it's going, and you can get them momentum building. You can like spur them on in a good way. But when you're shouting and hurling abuse at them, they're not going to want to go out there and like score, or like it's not going to encourage them to play better and things like that, is it? The heads are just going to drop. It's like if you're working in a job and your boss is constantly shouting at you, calling you this, that, and the other, saying you're rubbish at your job. You don't want to go back to work the next day and put in a great performance, are you?
No.
Luke actually agrees with what I'm saying. I think this is the first time that's ever happened. Someone agrees with me. But yeah, Graham has put as well, if you're not happy as a fan with performance or result, then just leave it at full time. Staying behind to target players and boo is counterproductive. I completely agree.
But you could say that as well, like they're booing, and then say you win the next game, all them fans are cheering for the player, and it's just like, you need to make your mind up. Like, do you like the player or do you not like the player? Like,
honestly, like, football is fans are so fickle, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, they're the
We all are.
yeah, they're the best ever, aren't they, when we're doing well? And then we're like, oh, get them out, they're rubbish, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like, just chill. But I do see it from like a fan's perspective when you think you go to work and then you go and pay your hard-earned money, and it is frustrating. And especially when you have seen like your team at the highest moments and you know the magic that is football and what can happen. But at the same time, like I said, don't target them and be personal. At the end of the day, you're going through a bad patch. I know obviously relegation isn't what they want, and relegation is something they don't want, and they have experienced it before. But just don't be an idiot about it. Just don't. But yeah, League 2 table. We won't mention top of the table. We don't like him, do we, after what's happened? But it is Walsall, though, 67 points. But Bradford are going to catch him.
Yeah, one Bradford.
They are second on 60 points. Doncaster Rovers are third on 58 points. And then we have in fourth position AFC Wimbledon on 57 points. Notts County are fifth on 57 points. Port Vale are sixth on 55 points. And Crewe Alexandra are seventh on 52 points. And then in the relegation zone, we have Morecambe, who are 23rd on 26 points, and Carlisle United are bottom of the table on 23 points. But obviously, they won today. So, as you mentioned, they are on the same points now, aren't they, Jen?
Yeah.
But that we won't include that. We won't include that. We'll pretend it never happened in the 3 points behind. Luke's saying he agrees with me because he might be on the booze.
Drinking on a Thursday.
I know, on a Thursday.
It is crazy how much like one win can do at the bottom of the table at the minute with how close it is.
Yeah,
like just one win can change it completely. I mean, like when we played Morecambe, that was like one of our scariest points, and then you had the loss to Doncaster as well. I mean, the games in hand for us have helped, but we have only won one of them so far because we got beat off Bradford. But it's like, it is just mad what one win can do.
You think as well, though, the game that you didn't win, it was against Bradford, and you think of the form and everything they're in at the minute, like we've mentioned.
Yeah.
And they've shot up massively, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like second. You think Albion were, but if you can, like you said, did you say you've got Harrogate at weekend, Rebecca?
Yeah, Harrogate and then MK Dons on Tuesday.
But like you said, and you've got Gillingham as well, Jen. So if you two, hopefully, fingers crossed, can get wins, you're dragging them into it as well.
We've got Gillingham on the 15th of March as well. So it's like we've got them coming up quite soon. I think we've got Barrow on the 8th.
Have you seen this as well, Rebecca? Oh, funny. There's a lot of booze talk on here. Come on now. It's a school night, everyone. School night. Come on. We will get to League One now. Ben, I'll come to you first. Any standouts on here, or any you think good result or bad result?
Two big results of the weekend. I'm going to pay it slow, but she's not here this week. Cambridge United 2, Stockport County 0. Where did that come from? The new bounce. We mentioned this, didn't we, last week? About the bounce. You know, again, now they brought Neil Harris in, they brought Mark Bonner back in, and what an effect that has already. You're beating one of the teams that have been so good this season, you know, to watch. And, you know, they've been such good form as well, Stockport, recently. That's a massive win for Cambridge. It's still a way to go. And I think there would have been a little bit bittersweet because obviously normally when, you know, some of the bottom sides win, that means they would have made up some ground more likely than not. But then some of the other big sides have won. And because that leads me on to the other big result. What a great week it's been for Peterborough after last week when we were saying they're in real danger. Massive result at Huddersfield Town. And then they follow it up, of course, last night with Checkatrade win against Wrexham. So, you know, they've had a great week. And Darren Ferguson probably feels like he's had a little bit of weight lifted off his shoulders, to be fair, because the amount of pressure that he's probably under right now to get that club to, you know, stay in that division now, which we never thought we'd say. That's a big win for them. And I think it was Hector Cipriano that scored the winning goal for Peterborough. So a bit of a damaging one for Huddersfield, obviously, you know, them sitting in the playoffs, and sort of cuts it down a little bit. they would have probably seen that maybe as point. They will see that as points drops, because if they win that, you extend your gap and you move up to 4th as well, which obviously they failed to do. But that's probably the two big ones, I think, of the weekend, without a doubt.
Definitely, I was going to mention a Peterborough one as well. I'm going to mention that one. I didn't want to be too bitter, but do you know what? Keane Hayes has actually been playing as well, and he's apparently been playing quite well. So I'm really happy for him.
That's happy for him, then, isn't it?
Exactly, that's the difference. No, do you know what though? Because at first I thought I don't want him to sign, go there and just sit on the bench. But to be honest, he's been involved in the plans as well, and I don't know if anyone remembers, Paul Gerrard, who used to play for Everton, is local around my area, and he's actually goalkeeping coach. I get my words out, put my teeth back in, at Peterborough, and he was saying how much of a really good player and a good up and coming talent Keane Hayes is. And it's always really nice to hear, a young lad and stuff get his chance. So I'm really happy for that. I'm not bitter anymore. I've got over it. And it's nice to see him doing well. Finally. I will go to Sean, bless him. He sent this a while ago, but obviously we've only just got to League One. He's put Bristol at home. We were 1-0 down just after the second half through 110-year-old Scott Sinclair. Very old man. He's getting on. 110. Wow. Then on the hour, former Aquiloni, Darryl Costello made it 1-1. And then on the 78th minute, Guinness Walker made it 2-1 to us. Fantastic result after what Bristol did to us a few seasons back. So won't forget that. Great win for them. I'm really sorry. My eyes started hurting. So I do apologise. Aled has put that Stevenage result is fantastic. Chris has put big win for Burton away at Lincoln. Aled has also put Orient losing. Nice result for Northampton there. Kyle's put. Aled has also put as well a great weekend for us. Other results going our way. And Graham has put Exeter at home, a very comfortable win against a really poor Exeter side. Never felt like we would concede and snitched a great team performance, but special shout out to the man with the greatest name. I'm thinking that's man with the greatest name, not MSN. I'd love to go back on MSN. Those were the days.
Yeah.
MSN. What throwback. Tyrese, Anthony, Tupac Shakur, Campbell. Love that name. I mentioned that one before. What a name. What a name.
I feel like they need to get a chant with his whole name in it.
Imagine having him on your shirt.
Oh, God.
We've signed. On the topic of names on shirts, a huge round of applause to the Aki Kit man. We have signed Joseph O'Brien Whitmarsh, and they have been able to fit O'Brien Whitmarsh on the back of his shirt, and he's like 23 as well. So it's not even that easy because they've got 2 numbers and then the longest name possible.
Oh no.
In the chat as well, Graham has put, that's 5 straight wins at the Valley now too. Oh, love that. I like to see Graham happy because when we started the lower league show, bless him, Charlton weren't doing very well, and he used to come on here and he'd still tune in, week out, but it'd be like, oh no, not very happy time. So I'm glad he's getting joy now. I love Graham. Aled has put, great seeing an ex-Wrexham Academy player. Hayes doing well, but sadly he did well against us on Wednesday. Can't comment on Mansfield or the trophy fixture as didn't attend both, but will dedicate my message coming up to our academy players, Plymouth and Ashfield. Graham has put as well, game's not long enough for that, Rebecca. It's like our player as well. We've got one called Adebayo Rolling. And he has the full name on the shirt. Adebayo Rolling. Graham, I wonder who his parents were a fan of. I know. Love you too, Shah. Oh, feeling the love. Rebecca, any standouts on here for you? Or any you want to talk about?
Mine was going to be the Lincoln match.
Yeah.
Because Lincoln did have a goal ruled out. So it was one of them they got a decent result against Mansfield, I think it was. See if they can get a good run of results together. And then they scored and you're like, right, this could be happening. And then I checked my watch again and it was like, oh, goals ruled out. And then it was a 92nd minute winner for Burton. So it was a very interesting one. Oh, I was just saying they had 2 goals ruled out.
An Oldham fan on Twitter has just messaged me saying that I do a very good job on the podcast and it's a cracking listen, and that's from an Oldham fan. How lovely is that?
Solidarity in football. Who'd have thought?
I know. I feel like next week I'll have to be a little bit nice now about them. Oh no. Do you know what? It's really nice, isn't it, when people like give you credit and stuff, but from like a rival fan as well.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm not so nice about them. That's lovely. Bless him. If you're still listening as well, thank you so much. Jen, any standouts for you on here?
I would have probably gone with the Burton game as well. Just think it's a huge win in the relegation scrap down there at the minute. So any result from like Cambridge and Burton is going to be massive for them going forward now.
Blimey, everyone must be on the booze tonight. That's true. I know. I feel like we're missing out on something. Is everyone having a party and we're not invited?
Yeah. Come on.
Oh, bless Michael as well. Hi, you're doing an amazing job on the podcast and such a great friend. Thank you so much. We all do an amazing job on the podcast, not just me, but thank you. Wait, they have a lot of fans, to be fair. That's one thing I'm not going to call them out on because they're very well supported. So I'm not going to call them out on that one at all. It's but also not to show favoritism. I love all the team too. That was from Graham, bless him.
Oldham have signed an ex-Aki player in Joe Pritchard. I think he scored and got an assist. I know we're miles past National League, but it's just popped into my head.
Good player. Really good player. Really good player. I'll just read through these results because obviously there's not many of them. I have got a match report off Sean now, but Birmingham 2, Leyton Orient 0. Going through a little bit of a bad patch at the minute, aren't they, Orient? Yeah. Played some tough teams, but going through a little bit of a rocky patch. Northampton 1, Barnsley 2, which I will come to, and Wigan Athletic 2, Huddersfield 1. Very good win for them. Michael has said, hope we are all well. We are, thank you so much. But yeah, Sean, and he's even spelt it as I say it. Barnsley at home, we were outrun by Keeler Dunn. I love Keeler Dunn. On the hour, 2-0 down, but managed to pull it back to 2-1 through Super Sam. I love Super Sam. And then I can't even say that name, sorry. Was sent off for a shocking tackle on Tariq Fosu. And we are hoping to open the 4th stand for the Birmingham game, but the dodgy ex-owners were due to appear in court today regarding the 10.25 million loan for the stand. My God.
That's crazy.
Wow, mental. Lucas put, Birmingham City is just storming this league. They are my champions in my eyes. Don't be should when they're paying so much money for players. Graham has put, since I tipped Huddersfield to get second, they're proper falling off the cliff. The podcast curse extend. We should be like manager and player of the month because we curse them just as much, don't we?
Yeah.
We should do it. Aled has put, Plymouth and Ashfield have performed incredibly well whenever we have played them, and Plymouth is a consistent starter and is one of our best players. And then he's also put, Ashfield performed incredibly well against both Vale and Peterborough. They are both young players and great seeing trust being given to academy players in the first team. I love that. I wanted to mention as well, I hope Andy Cannon has a speedy recovery. He was part of Dale's academy, bless him, and Stockport as well. And I know he's had a really bad injury and got stretchered off for Wrexham. So I really hope he has a speedy recovery. It's not nice seeing, obviously, player get quite seriously hurt. So wishing him all the best. Graham has put, no surprise, Luke, and they should be too, given the squad they've got. Exactly. So, yeah. League One table, Birmingham City, no shocks, are top on 73 points. Wycombe Wanderers are second on 64 points. Wrexham are third on 61 points. Stockport County, Claire's not here, but we will mention them. Despite them getting beat, they are still fourth on 57 points. Huddersfield Town are 5th on 55 points. Leyton Orient are 6th on 53 points. And then in the relegation zone, we have Burton Albion, who are 21st on 32 points. I tell you what, they're catching up though, aren't they?
They are. They
are catching up. Yeah. In 22nd, we have Crawley Town on 29 points. Shrewsbury Town are 23rd on 27 points. And Cambridge United are 24th on 26 points. Really quickly as well, I'll put it shows to those in the academy that a pathway to the first team is there. I love that. So close for Charlton. I know. And Graham has put as well, massive weekend coming up for us versus Orient, Birmingham versus Wickham. To be honest, the investigation has been ongoing since 2013, and can't believe Sam didn't put us in yellow by accident. I know. We'll quickly go to the Championship as well. So, Rebecca, I'll come to you first. Standouts, or any you want to talk about on here?
I feel like there's just a running theme amongst all of the teams that I end up picking, and it's just because I know that there's a player that just plays for them. West Brom and Oxford. I mean, it is an unfortunate one for Oxford. I do feel quite sorry for them. They are a very, very good side, and I do really want to see them doing well. But it did mean that Isaac Price got an assist for West Brom on the first goal, so I was very happy at that point. Again, another academy lad that it's one of them you always want to see him doing well, and to say that he's gone to West Brom and he's proven himself very well at a very good team with the support of a supportive manager, it is a very good one for him, and it's a decent result for West Brom as they're trying to keep up and about with the playoffs.
Have you seen this, Rebecca? You didn't need to take a bribe, though, did you? Just did yours because he loves you. All out of love. In the chat as well, Portsmouth winning against QPR is Luke's. We've got Luton with the eyes. We've got as well, get in. No need to try guessing the game I'm on about. I think we know at this point, and I think it might be the top one. I'm thinking Portsmouth for Aled as well. Simon has put Super Frankie Lampard finally ended our Preston curse. Benny's happy. And he's very, very happy.
That's my Super Frank.
Chris has put as well, I was wondering where Simon was for the Coventry game. Right, do you know what, Ben? Is Coventry your standout for Frank Lampard, or have you got another one?
No, there's another one. No, I mean, and it pains me to say, because I'm guessing this is the reason he's not here tonight. I mean, he says he's at a gig, but really it's Sunderland. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. Look, that's a great win, that for Hull City, you know, and it's such a big relegation battle. He had to decide, let's be honest, I think Anne said it to us. I think Sunderland now are probably settling for the playoffs because they're not gonna finish outside that top 7. But I think the top 2 is probably a little bit out of reach now. It's 8 points. There are still 12 games to go. And to be fair, Leeds' win against Sheffield United would have really helped him in that and maybe given him a slight chance. But that's a damaging defeat. That to lose at home to a side like Hull, you know, been struggling all season. So that would be the standout one. And that's been a great trip back for those Hull fans from the Stadium of Light.
Chris has put to that as well. Ouch, Sunderland. Ouch. Jen, any standouts for you?
I'd probably have to say the Burnley game.
You said this from Morgan as well.
Yeah, they're just on fire at the minute. Like, I just don't even know what to say about them anymore. Just that I definitely think they're a team that's going up. Like, they're just so good at the minute, and they're not conceding as well. Like, even if they're not winning 4-0, they're winning 1-0. Like, they're still winning so many games that I generally think, obviously, Leeds are probably going to go up because they're just unbelievable at the minute. But Burnley are right up there with them, and you really can't Burnley out at the minute.
Especially when they've got Scott Parker as manager, because you think, obviously, he's used to it, his experience as well.
Yeah.
And I think Dan mentioned I think he's coming on next week as well, fingers crossed, hopefully. So It'd be nice to hear from Dan.
Yeah.
9 goals conceded in 34 games is absolutely mental.
It's
Like, for any
mental,
level.
isn't it?
But the second tier of English football, like, that's got to be some sort of record. I know people saying, I think the last team that managed to concede less goals or whatever was Chelsea, and they conceded 15 in the Premier League, and that was a quality that they had. And Scott Parker, my God, I mean, to be fair though, like we said, he's been there and done it. Obviously, he took Bournemouth back up to the Premier League. He manager of Fulham as well when they got back up to the Premier League.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
So he's gone potentially on for his third promotion from the Championship. So, again, a bit like what I feel like with Frank Lampard. I don't think he's quite Premier League-esque for a manager, but in Championship, he knows how to do it. And I don't know what it is about it, because you'd think they know the Premier League really well, but I guess with the clubs that they're with, they're not have that same expectation as the top tier teams do. But Scott Parker, that's the thing. You've got to give him credit where it deserves. I mean, the football might not be entertaining to watch from a Burnley perspective, but I've always said if my team was winning games 1-0 every single week and we were going badly, I wouldn't care. All you wanted in the day is 3 points. And I'd love to be a Burnley fan right now.
Yeah.
Is it 12? Sounds pretty 9 consecutive clean sheets. That's unbelievable. That for any team. So that's fair play to them.
Crazy. Yeah, Sam has mentioned. Oh, Nana can't go 9 minutes.
Oh no.
It feels like Burnley haven't conceded since about 1994. Also think that result confirms Leeds up now. Leeds are scoring some really late and vital goals, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like,
I swear they just do it just for the excitement of everyone at home and in the stands. Or just scoring like the last minute.
Makes everyone want to stay to watch.
Yeah. It's like Morgan was saying before, wasn't it? Obviously about York, where even if they are like 1-0 down, they still don't think they're gonna lose because of the late goals that they're scoring. They still have that like belief and stuff. And I feel like Leeds fans are exactly the same. Where they're there and maybe they have that. And like I said before to Morgan, I think that's a sign of like a really great team. And someone who's going to keep believing and fighting. And they're the ones who obviously will get promoted at the end of the day, aren't they? Picking up the late goals and the late points. And it's like that never dying attitude, isn't it? Like, I love that. Simon as well. He's put Leeds and Burnley are just too good for the Championship. There should be a league between the Premier League and the Championship, shouldn't there? I say this every single time, but certain teams should be in that league. Alex talking about Wrexham. Their next games are Bolton, Huddersfield, Rotherham, Reading, Wickham and Stockport. Graham, we'll still never forgive Scott Parker for the way he left us. I'll always be petty about that. We always have someone we're petty about, to be fair, though, so don't worry. Chris has put Portsmouth's 3rd win in a row and a great win against QPR. Huge run for them. I just wanted to get this up as well, the Norwich game. So obviously Norwich 4, Stoke City 2. And Sam put Norwich, Josh Sargent is on fire. He scored 7 in 6 games. Very good. Really good player. One result I wanted to mention as well, to be fair, is obviously Swansea beating Blackburn 3-0.
Yeah.
Good win for them. Very good win for them. And we've got a couple of games, obviously midweek. So Cardiff beat Hull 1-0 and Stoke City lost to Middlesbrough 3-1. Not really standouts there, have they, to be honest?
Really, no.
Quite expected. Luke has put, we've got Filed at home on Saturday live and then Rochdale away on Tuesday night. I'm not even gonna speak. I'm not speaking about that. I might just have another sore eye next week if we lose. Graham has put as well, random comment. One thing I hate in games these days, a goalkeeper's going down injured. So team talks can take place. It needs to get in the bin. Not an ants rant, but more of a minute moan. I know we've not had an ants rant today. Have we? I feel like I had a little one when I was talking about Jim and saying he needs to be more angry. I know. I feel like I am now, and I am like, I took over him. I'm just the moany ass of the podcast.
God, I don't know what it's going to be like when we lose to Gateshead, though. My God.
I know. Oh, no, I just won't turn up.
Depending on the score next week, might not be you.
I know. Simon has put Matt Robbins should have never taken the Stoke job. They're awful. They are. Borough really needed that win so bad. Carrick is under so much pressure. Yeah, I completely agree. Very inconsistent this season. Morgan, York did on about the 30th minute every game last year. It was like clockwork. I think Luke's laughing at me. Shock. He always laughs at me. It's just a standard. And he's put with the keeper going down. I think that was linked to that other comment. Quick look at the not National League. Whatever. It's because Luke's taunting me here. I'm under pressure now. You're getting in my head already, Luke. The championship table. So Leeds United are top of the championship on 75 points. Sheffield United are second on 70 points. Burnley, you think though, to be fair, sorry, before I move on, Sheffield United had a points deduction as well, didn't they? So fair play to them. They're doing well, aren't they? Yeah, I keep forgetting about points deduction. Third of Burnley, on 68 points. Sunderland are fourth. There's a little bit of a gap, isn't there? But still doing well on 62 points. And then there's an even bigger gap then, isn't there?
Yeah,
West Brom, on 51 points. Blackburn Rovers are still in that final playoff spot on 51 points. And then in the relegation zone, we have Plymouth Argyle, who are 22nd on 30 points. Derby County are 23rd on 29 points. And Luton Town are bottom of the championship on 28 points. Minus 2 points for Sheffield United. I keep forgetting that, to be fair. Simon as well, bless him, has put only a point off the playoffs. Would never have expected that when Lampard took over. I know, and to be fair, like, we were all, I remember the conversation we all had about Robbins, and we were like, oh, I can't believe they've done that, blah, 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 got Frank Lampard. And to be fair, he's proving us all wrong. He's proving, like, people wrong, isn't he? He's doing very, very well. And I think even to be fair, Simon, if I remember rightly, you were a bit hesitant, weren't you, with the Lampard appointment? But, yeah, you can't fault him at all. And considering where they were. Sorry, Rebecca.
No, sorry. I don't want this to sound like an insult, but it probably will end up coming out like this. But I feel like he's found his level. Like, the championship is the best place for him. Like, what he did with Everton, I mean, fair play, he kept us up. But it then just went a bit downhill and he didn't have it about him to do that. But he has found his level and where he can make the difference for a team.
Definitely. No, I completely agree with you. And it doesn't come across as an insult, don't worry.
I wonder what you're going to say. Like, attacking Frank Lampard or anything.
Ben will fight.
I will fight. I know where you
live. When you said that, Rebecca, I thought, oh no, all these weeks Claire's been on the podcast and Rebecca's going to get us cancelled. All these weeks. But no, it wasn't an insult, don't worry. Simon's in complete agreement as well. Complete agreement. This made me laugh as well. Graham, QPR only 7 points off the playoffs, but with 14th. It's mad how close it is, isn't it?
Bottom of the league by miles at one point, as well, weren't they? Like,
I know.
Get a bit of run together, and that's what happens.
Ties came in the chat. Lampard will always be a Nepo baby to me. As well. Luke, come on, don't be like that. Good luck to everyone at the weekend and on the midweek, apart from me. I'm hoping though it just means midweek for me because we've got Altrincham in the FA Trophy, so I hope he's not being double mean. Luke, so clarify that. We need a win, we need something because it doesn't look like we're making playoffs, so FA Trophy would be nice. Day out at Wembley would be lovely. We've never won at Wembley. I've been twice so far and we've never won. And it's pissed it down and there's been a snowstorm, so brilliant. Maybe there'll be a thunderstorm next time. If we ever get there. Who knows? Maybe I'll get stranded. It's not going to be sunny, is it, for me? Yeah, just Just thought I'd put it out there. But yeah, that is the end. That is the end of our show. And what a great show it's been. I mean, we've spent a lot of time on National League North and South, League 2, talking about stuff, League 1, Championship. And yeah, we've had Morgan on as well, bless him. So I know he was in the chat, so thank you again for coming on. But yeah, I don't know what to say now.
Yeah.
Graham, yeah. Double game week for us. Orient away Saturday and Barnsley home Tuesday. I think because at the minute I'm that like deflated with football. I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, well.
But somebody who's not as deflated with me, who's got a smile on his face, Ben, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Ben Stones FC1 on Twitter. And tell you what, Char, I want to give you a shout out because I know you were quite worried about coming on tonight with your eye and everything. And you were going to have to manage it, but you've smashed it out of the park tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You've got through nearly 2.5 hours with us. My God, how do you know you've done that?
Thank you. To be fair, most of that was my fault because I've just been chatting a load of waffles, so it's my own fault. No, but I don't know if you saw at one point, I thought we were going to give up on me. I was like, no.
Stop getting into fight, Char. We keep telling you about this. Stop being such a hooligan.
I know.
No.
I just keep getting involved in fights. I'm only joking. I come off worse. Don't worry. I wouldn't get involved in fights anyway. I come off worse. I'm the oldest out of my siblings, right? And I still wouldn't fight with them because they batter me. And bearing in mind, my little brother's only 21. My sister's a lot smaller than me as well, like in height. But I still wouldn't mess with either of them because they batter me. Jen, where can everybody find you?
So it'll be Jen Hunt _, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, every social media platform. Everywhere, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully we get a win on Saturday, and then they'll be out the relegations out. Fingers crossed.
Rebecca, where can everybody find you as well?
You can find me on Twitter and TikTok, and it is _record _shot _ I don't do the point anymore because my computer has flipped my camera, so when I point, I just point at nothing. So we will the end of an era with the end of my computer. You can find my Hey Game 2 content at Hey Game 2 ASFC, and hopefully cheering on Dundee on Saturday when they finally win a match.
Oh,
as long as Ryan Astley starts, that is the only thing that we need to happen. He needs to start. That's the
manifest it. Manifest it.
We need him to start.
Just going back to the chat as well, bless. Graham's put, good luck, guys. Up the Dale, up the Stones, up the Shroots, up the Ackett. Oh, this is why I love Graham. Hope Charlton win as well. Great show yet again, and hope your eye gets better soon. Thank you, Aled. Thank you. Do you know what? This is actually better as well. It might not look it, but compared to what it were, it's actually better. So thank you. Smashed it, Shah, even with Chris's 6 feet. I know, bless him. Great show, team. Smashed it. Well done, everyone on the team, giving their time to share a fabulous football show. Well done to Super Shah, of course, as well. Thank you. We've got Morgan as well. He's put, great show, everyone. Was great being part of it. You're welcome anytime. Thank you for talking York with us. It was nice, weren't it, to have a York fan on? I love getting new fans on so you can kind of see how their season is. So if anyone's interested, give me a shout. We've been denied the pointing moment of silence needed. I feel like we need a moment of silence for that now, Rebecca.
I do apologise.
I know.
It had got to the point where my computer wouldn't turn on unless I held it a certain way, which didn't really look great when I'm sat at uni just wafting my computer in the air while trying to teach the lecture.
We've got as well Football League Adventures. Well done, guys. Can't wait to get on one of the pods. And if anybody wants to check out any of my socials, I'm SharXRAFC. That is on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. My Her Game 2 stuff is Rochdale HGT. But of course, we are the Absolute Football Podcast. We are Best New Content Creator. We did win that other Football Content Awards. We didn't dream it. We can still milk it until November, and we're gonna. We are Absolutely Premier League, we are Absolutely Women's Football, and Absolutely Lower League, and that is on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday at 8:30 on Twitter, because I'm not calling it X because I refuse to. Elon, I refuse, even if you're listening. Sorry, but I refuse.
Definitely not.
Still want to be a friend, though. Don't cut me off. On Twitter, we are Absolute Ball Pod. On YouTube and Twitch, we are Absolute Football Podcast. On TikTok, we are Absolute Football Pod. On Instagram, we are Absolute Football Podcast _. On Blue Skies, I think it's called Blue Skies, isn't it? Yeah.
So.
We are Absolute Football. And then on Facebook, we have Absolute Football Podcast. Obviously, you can catch up on YouTube as well with our other shows. I was delighted to be hosting the Absolutely Premier League show on Tuesday it was, and I was talking to Lucas, who obviously is our usual, is an Arsenal fan. There was a Nottingham Forest fan called Greg on there, and Aaron, who's a Liverpool fan, and it was a really good chat about Mo Salah, and just it was really nice to talk to a Nottingham Forest fan as well, especially about their journey this season. Obviously, Absolutely Women's Football with Freya and the team. I know they had a special guest on last night as well, talking all things women's football. So check that out. And then if you want to see more of us, more content, we are Absolutely Lower League. And if you're not familiar with us, we do cover the EFL Championship, League One, League Two, Vanarama National League, National League North and South, and next week I think it'll be FA Cup and FA Trophy too, so we'll have a lot of football to cover. But yeah, just want to say to everyone in the chat as well, thank you so much. Do really appreciate you coming on week in, week out, not just for our show but every single show as well. We love the community that we have built, and have a lovely weekend, and ta-ta for now. Bye everyone.